On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, Matt and Nick will be dropping more predictions that other Star Wars shows call exclusive leaks as they riff on the current slate of Star Wars nothingness. The dudes have some games to discuss to start things out, but they'll also travel back in time to talk some Rogue One discarded titles. They'll also get in on the Bad Batch reveals, which provided a street date for the show, as well as a new action figure. Kenobi's cast will be discussed as well, thanks to the news that a former Game of Thrones star has been hired to bring her talents to Tatooine. Of course, they'll round things out with the Fan Question of the Week responses on ported Star Wars games, while also honoring this week's top 5 Star Wars fan artists. Punch it, Chewie.
Oh no, they can't hear you. So what Matt's been saying is that the big news coming up for those of you who aren't in our Discord and who don't get all the news early before the show is that we have a pretty big guest coming up next week. It's slated. Obviously, as you know, what has happened in the past, some people have canceled. Check.
How about now, motherfuckers?
Is Matt back? But we're going to be getting a real Star Wars actor on the show, Silas Carson. He's the guy who played Ki-Adi-Mundi. He also played some of the Trade Federation guys. I think it was
Newt. I mean, he plays like Newt and Lot Dot. I mean, like I said, Silas. Yeah. He's royalty, prequel royalty. He's one of the first actors you ever saw in the prequels when he's playing that Republic pilot.
Yeah, so he's.
Am I audible now? Big Amish.
I believe you're back.
Yeah.
I believe you're back. Brando and Big Amish have confirmed that Matt is back.
Hey now! Oh man, you never know. I don't know how the fuck did that happen, my friends. Who knows? I mean that's why we probably should have done a test before we went live because it's a Star Wars Time show. I've been getting lax in my pre-test, right, Nick? It's almost like we've got a flow going down. We got comfortable for a little bit there. Like we haven't had some of the initial tech plagues that were fucking up the live stream almost this time a year ago. Holy shit! It's almost been a full year of live streams on the Star Wars Time show, but. Hey, if you listen to the audio only, you'll hear my actual intro. Sorry, live streamers. I truly do not know what happened there, but that will remind me to keep doing the pre-show tests. Bad, Matt. Bad. You should know better. It's the fucking Star Wars Time show. You know something's going to be busted. But yeah, like Nick was saying, or what I was trying to do when I kicked off the show was not screaming, okay? When I do the hey now, because like Nick said, we hope to have Silas Carson on the program next week to lead the show. He'll be the first segment as we've been doing with our interviews. I don't know. I'm anxious about this one, Nick. I wouldn't say it's not coming from a place of intimidation. over the years, I've figured out a way to kind of get over my being an introverted individual. The career path I switched to at 30 has helped. Doing stuff on Entertainment Buddha before Star Wars Time Show has helped. Going to E3 and having to network with PR people and game developers and sit down in a room with them and talk to them and do interviews. All that has helped. But I'm still a very anxious person, as a lot of you diehards know. So when we had Spencer booking these guests, big or small, it doesn't matter. It could be, and I'm not saying the toy photographers and creators are small, but let's be real. You're not a fucking Star Wars actor.
Yeah, you weren't in the movies.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I get a level of anxiety, and the anxiety I think is rooted in, I want to do a good job. I want to make it entertaining. I don't want to make it sound like any other interview you may have heard with one of these actors, like, ooh, do Newt Gunray, or ooh, did you like wearing the Ki-Adi-Mundi headpiece? I mean, that stuff may come up, but I want it to be more of a free-flow conversation, just like Nick and I, right? I don't want this to be a traditional reading from a list of questions type of interview outlet. And there's also, I think the anxiety comes from, how the fuck is the Star Wars Time Show getting guests of that caliber? I personally believe in the product, but I'm also someone that has spent almost 12 years now trying to build brands online and just has not succeeded in terms of large followings. I'm also a realist. My years in the video game business, I can't tell you how many times I was told, no, you're not big enough. You don't have enough followers. You don't have enough unique visitors. So I get it. Typically, when you bring in big guests, there's an agreement. Like, oh yeah, you're a big show. We'll be able to promote our guests' work and so on and so forth. So I think some of my anxiety, Nick, also comes from I just don't feel like we're good enough for these type of people yet.
It's kind of weird because, even guests of this caliber, you would hear, on TV shows sometimes you would have somebody like Silas Carson comes in who actually plays a ton of different roles in Star Wars. So you could have him come in and give a lot of different perspectives. And for him to be on our show is actually pretty, I agree. It's not intimidating. It is just like a different caliber of guests, different type of guests. The people that we've had on now, we would almost consider them peers, especially you, because we've had a lot of toy photographers. We'd have people in the community,
fellow
and
community
stuff like that.
Members for sure. It's more of like a hangout where this is going to be. We're talking to a fucking Star Wars actor, hopefully, and I keep saying hopefully. I'm hedging things, and nothing against Silas and his team, nothing against Spencer and us. We understand real life. And like I said, me sitting here is going like, Silas, he was in the movies, he's a Jedi, he's a separatist. Is he really going to want to talk to us on a Tuesday afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Right now is probably the best time for these types of actors, and just for actors in general, because a lot of Hollywood is doing minimal shoots in terms of stuff, production because of COVID. So you have a little bit of extra time. You got, you're not on a schedule. So maybe you can jump in and say hey, let's do a podcast for these little shits that nobody's ever heard of and see if we can have a little bit of fun. But that he's probably got some time on his hands, but I think that Silas seems like he's also a nerd kind of guy. If you look up his credits, a lot of stuff in Star Wars, also in Doctor Who.
Oh, he hits the concert. Have you started research then?
I just a quick little bit, not anything that's.
Yeah, I know. I think Spencer may help on that, but I definitely need to start doing my Silas research. I mean, outside of the Star Wars stuff, yes, I know that, but I don't want to jump in and just be like, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars.
His other big credit is definitely Doctor Who. All right. So, I mean, he is British as well. So,
yeah, if there's, I guess, fans, I mean, if you're in our Discord, the Cantina chat channel, if you got questions you'd like us to try for, I mean, again, hopefully he shows up.
As long as it's not anything fucking stupid.
Nothing dumb. and real quick on the Discord thing, I want to clear the air a bit because I got yelled at by Nick, all sorts of people last week. But in our Discord, and I'd love for any Star Wars Time Show listeners, come on in. come on in. The Discord link you can get through our Instagram at Star Wars Time Show. On Instagram, just hit the bio link. You'll find it. But we had a little bit of drama last week in the Star Wars Time Show Discord. And I just want to clarify it, okay? I mean, it's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. It's like the Gina thing has just kicked up a shitstorm within the Star Wars community, and people, I don't know, they can't get past it. They're getting stuck in those trigger ruts. So here's the deal. We have our Discord. We have various channels in our Discord. Our main channel is called Cantina Chat, and it's that. It's talking about the hobby that has brought us all together, the Star Wars shit. Random posts, news posts, new figures, whatever. Over there, really, once the Gina thing started, I mean, obviously that post got shared in there, as it should be. That's a Star Wars topic. It got people talking. But then I started to notice a trend was happening. Other posts that triggered certain people were starting to show up. They had nothing to do with Star Wars. And we've all seen this before. I call it the Facebook effect, where once one of those posts come in, other people start chiming in. Then it's like within the wake of that one post, you start getting other shit posts. And it's like, okay, all right, freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to have to moderate this, but this is our Discord. We just want to fucking talk about Star Wars. If you want to go on Facebook and get angry at politics or fucking toys, have at it. I don't want it in that Cantina Chat channel. So I made that statement. I think some people might have taken it personally. I didn't mean to make it personal. It's just the person that posted it happened to be the one that finally flipped my switch. Where I was like, okay, as the moderator, as someone that kind of identifies himself as the creator of Star Wars Time Show, I felt like I had to get in and just kind of remind everyone what the Discord's about, what that channel's for. And I might add, asked the mod, who at the time was Nick, to create a channel for random stuff, political stuff, whatever. Like, if people want to talk about that in our Discord, have at it. Just do it in the new random channel. Don't run away. Come back and play. No one was yelling at anybody. No one hates anybody. I understand everyone gets triggered by certain things. I just did not want our main channel to become another place that we all could click into and just be like, fuck. It's here too now. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. We get inundated with triggers these days. Be it watching TV, be it online, it doesn't matter. Something is going to fucking get you worked up unless you're Nick Caminita. Nick is like, he is triggerless. I mean, even he's like, dude, just fucking chill out. I was like, I get it, Nick, but I perceive some of the comments that were taking place in there to kind of skirt the line of implied racism or implied transphobia. It's just like, we don't need that in the Star Wars Time Show Discord. It can be in its own little random channel. So there we go. That's the update on the Star Wars Time Show Discord drama. You never know. You never know, people, what you're going to get in the Star Wars Time Show Discord. So sign up. And I promise you, I'm not here to mod and tell you what to say. Just say it in the appropriate channel, pretty please. Okay?
Yeah. Now I understand why, like, you go into these Discords sometimes and there's 85,000 channels and you're like, what the fuck is all this shit for, man? Have 3 channels. And now we started, like, when our Discord started, there were literally 3 channels. There was Cantina Chat, there was Artist Community, and then there was the Spoiler Talk channel. And then we've had requests for a show suggestions channel, which is in there now, a delayed transmissions, which is people talking about the show after it had already run. There's a Star Wars memes channel, and now there's a random.
It's beautiful.
Shit channel.
It's a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing of beauty. Expanding. It's a thing of beauty. And really, I mean, I've gotten this idea. The Wookiees Always Win guild that I'm in for Swago, they're like Discord senseis. I mean, some of the shit they've done in this Discord in terms of bots. I mean, I got a fucking bot yelling at me every day like, hey, asshole, get your 600 tickets in. Hey, asshole, sign up for the raid. I'm like, this is awesome. But they've had to program all that shit. You're not going to get that in the Star Wars Time Show Discord. I mean, I had to fight Nick just to get moderator abilities. So we're not tweaking it. We're not tweaking our server to do anything cool.
To be completely honest with you, like I didn't even know how to make an admin until you asked me, because I was like, okay, well, I'm the server owner,
right?
So I know I have to be able to make it. I had to just kind of fuck around in there until I saw the admin shit. I was like, okay, here it is.
Yeah, I'm like, and I could tell Nick's like, hey, asshole, it's fucking Thursday night. Quit bothering me about this shit, because he couldn't figure out how to make me mod. Then he made me mod. He's like, there you go, fucking talk about whatever. Leave me alone. I was like, all right, you're right. You're right. But I was like, you know what? Being the guy, someone that is active within the SWTS community outside of the show, I was like, I just need to make a comment and get this cleaned up. So anyways, Discord, it's all regulated now. If you say something I don't like it, I'm going to fucking kick you out.
He could ban you.
I am Captain Cancel Culture now. Watch out. Watch out.
Yeah.
I got that ban hammer power. I'm gonna be like,
I'm gonna update Matt's nickname to the Bandmaster.
There we go. No, but I mean, come on. I think people know me at this point in time. I say a lot of interesting and stupid things. Other people say interesting and stupid things. But when it comes to our front lawn, I want stupid things to only be in certain parts of the yard. All right, that's it. Okay, good. All right, so yeah. Anyways, next week could be big. So let's try to get some turnout. I know Spencer has put out some promotional materials to what we're calling now the Star Wars Time Show Street Team, aka the dysfunctional Discord group. The Liams of the world. I mean, I already told you, young Liam. I mean, he's moved on. We're too small for him these days. He's a TikTok king at this point in time. Did you say he signed in the Discord like a day ago? He's like, oh, I'm just now seeing this. I'll help out. I'm like, young Liam. Look at young Liam. This guy, he's got that almost 100,000 followers.
He's like, I have my own Discord now.
Yeah, he's like, fuck you guys and your
I don't need
your 30 strong Discord. Suck my dick. We still love you, young Liam. I thought it was funny though. He's like, yeah, I just saw this now. Hey, moving on to bigger and better things with that TikTok. But yeah, next week, let's do it. Back to the whole reason we got on Discord. Maybe you got some questions or some things that we should know about Silas. So drop them in there and we'll see what we can do. But it's probably going to go like other interviews. It's just going to go wherever. Maybe he'll give us a half hour, maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half if he likes it. You do not know where these interviews will go because they are pretty unscripted. I basically take some notes, jot down some general points, jot down some general questions. I may try to get a bit of his Star Wars bio as I have done for other guests. But outside of that, we just kind of see where it goes and hope there's not a lot of dead air, which on this show with me talking typically is not a problem. Right?
No. And I feel like Silas is a very practiced interviewee.
Of course.
He's been around.
That's what I mean. It's like we're gonna have to. We're really gonna have to be at our top condition, Nick. Yeah, we're crossing over into the big leagues, as they say. But he's not the only one. Spencer's got some others planned down the road. I mean, Spencer's been so active on the interviews, I almost have to fire him.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, calm down a little bit.
It's like,
I'm pretty sure he's set up a tent on George Lucas's front lawn at this point. Like he tracked down his address.
I love it.
He's just camped out.
I love it. I mean, he's got us. I know he has guests for us at this point, Nick, booked through April. So we've gone from just two dudes talking to a potential interview show at this point in time.
Hey, I mean, if that's what kind of picks up and people start to listen to the interviews, then I'm down for it. As long as we can have a steady stream of interviewees coming in, as long as they enjoy it.
And that's the other thing. Those who are listening, if you like the interview we do and something cool was said, fucking share it. Get us on Reddit. Why do we get no traction outside of our Tuesday show in our little community? I mean, we're going to be talking about another bullshit post that we found on Reddit today that is literally a summary of what we said last week, in a joking fashion, basically saying, Harrison Dula taking over the Rangers, and now their site's running with it, calling it exclusive and saying they have sources, and they get traction on Reddit. Us, we say this shit. We actually come through on predictions. I called the Book of Boba Fett ending on episode 2. I mean, the ending of episode 1. Nothing. Thank God Figurehertz is out there and he's blaring it to over the comm speakers at his work to let people know. But where's the Reddit? Why aren't we getting quoted by THR as breaking some news? So that's what we need from all of you. You know, it's not just rating, liking, and commenting and sharing anymore. Now you got to start going out and getting this shit posted on other sites so people are like, oh, Star Wars Time Show. That's not just some mystical dragon I've heard about. It really is a show that either has good content or breaks interesting Star Wars news. So get at it, motherfuckers. We need the Reddit army up and at them. I haven't checked. I know Spencer. He's like, oh, I got the Silas video on Reddit. I was like, oh, dude, thanks for trying, but I guarantee those were auto banned the moment you hit submit. So
I don't know which Reddit. Not leaks,
I think he put it on just straight Star Wars Reddit and then maybe leaks. So leaks would be an instant no.
Yeah, leaks. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't know how their auto ban.
I promise
works.
you on leaks, if it's not like a KRT domain address, it's getting rejected. Or LRM Online, another very reputable online outlet, just like StarWarsTime.net. All right, so people have been watching on the live stream. I know you couldn't hear me for the first 2 minutes, so you're probably like, wow, that was awesome. It was way better to start the show not hearing that asshole yell into the mic. But I've had a graphic up on the screen that is not Star Wars. And you're probably sitting there, all right, well, what the fuck? What the fuck? He's going to get into one of these non-Star Wars topics again, and guess what? You're right. But I like to share cool shit that I find during the week with other who I believe to be like-minded individuals. And I was talking about this topic with Nick before we went live. It's on his radar, but he hasn't checked it out yet, so my goal is to sell it. And I'm talking about an upcoming video game from People Can Fly, published by Square Enix, called Outriders. And the reason I'm talking about it is because a demo is available now, I believe, for all the platforms. It's going to be multi-platform. Crossplay, which is fucking badass. But just a quick summary, Outsiders is an action third-person, action-oriented, story-driven RPG with crossplay co-op. How's that? That's a mouthful.
That's a lot of verbs and adjectives in there.
Right. So People Can Fly. If those of you are out there going, well, who the fuck are they? If you ever played Bulletstorm, that's the studio that cooked up that very awesome, unique, slightly disturbing in terms of the violence and the way you would kill people. But that's a game, Nick, where you had kind of an electric whip. And the whole goal was to essentially make your kills as creative as possible with this whip. So you'd whip them up in the air, you'd juggle them with some grenades, and then you'd shoot them with a harpoon to finish them off. It rewarded you for being demented, essentially.
Yeah. I remember they also kind of built it around speed running the game too. Like it was very quick to finish.
Exactly.
So you could go back and you could beat your previous time or get higher kill scores and stuff like that.
Yeah, it had that allure too, because I can remember Stunt Buddy and I, this is a big game that we got competitive with. Like, oh dude, I beat level 1 in 13 seconds with a kick-ass demon rating. He'd be like, now I got to try. And then, you try to best the run. So that's the people. They're definitely into, as I said, aggro type of shooters. Like, basically, imagine me when I talk about toy photography, but as a shooter. That's what People Can Fly do. It's like they wind people like me up and say, "Go kill." So I'm all about that type of game. In fact, Nick, this is a demo, so you go through a few kind of tutorial screens. And the one screen at the end where it's kind of telling you what to do, in caps, basically, and I'm summarizing this, but it says, let aggression be your main driving force. The more aggressive you are, the more health you'll get, so on and so forth. All right, so that's kind of the backstory on Outriders. And I'm not a big demo player. The reason I was like, you know what, I'm going to try this one out is because it will save your progress.
Yeah, that's big about demos.
That's
in the gaming
awesome.
space.
I love that because as Nick and I were discussing before we went live, a lot of game demos, especially these days, they're great. They are a great sample of the game, but they're usually the first part of the game, the tutorial level. So it's something that, if you played in a demo, you're going to be playing it all over again once the game comes out if you buy it. Outriders, like some other demos have done before it, basically said, hey, download this shit, play it. If you want to, buy it when it comes out on April 1st, and you can import your demo save and just continue from where the demo ended. Apparently the demo, depending on how much you explore, you're looking at least 3 to 5 hours of content, which is nice. I played through what I'd call the prologue last night, Nick, and I am hooked, and that is why I'm talking about it.
Yeah, I downloaded it already on the PS5. Haven't booted it up yet, but I was aware of Outriders because one of my friends from my previous job actually messaged me about it. He's like, just kind of telling me, saying it was something that he's interested in, and he's a big RPG guy, so like he's always into like the Diablos and stuff like that, Torchlight, so those styles of games. And it seems like Outriders is like the perfect mashup of like an RPG style game, but with these shooters, like you were talking about, Bulletstorm, Gears of War, those styles of games. So I'm pretty interested in it too. I'll probably boot up the demo and play a little bit either today or tomorrow, maybe over the weekend. Taylor's going to be away from the home. She's going to be out of town in Omaha for a virtual weightlifting meet. So I will have some extra time to just dick around on the PS5.
Yeah, it's a game where I played on the Series X, and outside of some choppy ass cutscenes, which I don't know if it's just the demo build or I'll tell you what, I've been dealing with some shit on the Series X and my new TV. My new TV just randomly turns off. Only using on the Series X, so. No,
so weird.
Like I said, I don't know if it's a game or if my console is a jerk off. But essentially, the frame rates, just in the opening, they cleaned up about an hour in. We're a little janky, but in terms of the gameplay itself on the Series X, it is smooth as fuck. Like, I'm talking smooth frame rates, smooth shooting, smooth cover, smooth mantling, switching targets. But the gameplay it's not Gears of War-esque, even though it has the same Gears of War cover system. Take cover with A, switch to cover with A, mantle over with B. But like I said, this game's mantra is being aggressive. Where Gears is,
that is interesting.
Gears is a pop and shoot game. I love Gears of War. Fucking love it. But it is more strategic, more pop and shoot. Yeah, sometimes you can run in and be kind of a Tommy tough guy. But this game, while it is cover based and you have some other things, it's like, hey, if you sit here too long, they're going to swarm your ass and you're going to be dead. You need to kill to survive, essentially. So I love that. Okay. So it is kind of fast. But like Nick said, it's got the RPG aspects. So there's a lot of side quest type of shit. There's a lot of just searching the maps, taking different routes, seeing what you find.
Is there like gear? So can you like get different gear?
So here's where things really get interesting. The story I'll summarize like this. Humans are shitheads, which is that's not a far stretch.
So it's a true story.
Right. Earth has been killed. We've killed Earth. 2 ships leave Earth with the lucky people that get to hopefully keep the human race going. They're basically in cryo for 83 years to make the journey to this planet Enoch, which is supposed to be hospitable to humans. The Outriders, which if you actually go and look it up, an Outrider is a group of people that typically go out first before a larger party to make sure shit's going to be kosher once the larger group arrives. But in this game, the Outriders, I still really haven't gotten into the lore, Nick, but it seems like the Outriders are, I don't want to say superheroes, but I don't know how we'd equate them to our type of our life, real life.
Are they like powers? Do they have like powers? Or are they just like super like strong?
No,
something like that?
But they're regarded as I don't know, Secret Service, but even more bad Navy SEALs, maybe. I don't know.
Okay,
Like they,
so like the elite of the soldiers.
Yes, and there's
like
only
that.
a few of them, and they're definitely held in a higher regard than just normal people. So anyways, they're shipped out cryo 83 years. They make it to Enoch. Outriders are sent down to figure out what's going on. And of course, shit's not on the up and up. It's not the planet they expected. There's some crazy shit going on. Your character gets tagged with something and immediately is put back in a cryopod. Humans are humans. You're woken up 30 years later on this new planet and there's fucking wars going on because over 30 years, humans have taken their beef from Earth and have brought it right to the new planet. It's all fucked up. But you learn, as Nick was implying here, that during that storm 30 years prior, your character has become something in the game that is called an altered. So on this planet, Nick, and the humans that made it there, some of them become altereds, which basically they become superpowered individuals. And this is where you pick your class. So right at the end of the prologue, when you find all this shit out, you're then presented. You can be a tank, you can be a pyromancer, you can kind of be a tech gadget sniper, or you can be kind of like a ninja stealth, very Ghost of Tsushima type of shit, like disappear and show up and kill your guy and then disappear again. So it does have a class-based system as well. I don't know what it is about Outriders, my friend, but as I told you, I'd rather be playing that right now than doing the Star Wars time show. That's how much just this demo, the prologue, and maybe the first 25 minutes, first mission or two of the game has kind of captivated me. It's got, in my opinion, a decent story, right? There's that far future intrigue, like what happened during the 30 years when you got knocked out again. What's the big picture? Why is this Enoch planet so fucked up? What are the altereds? What does that mean? So you get a lot of that, but again, you can go out and adventure, side quests, look for new gear. Like you're saying, your gear can affect abilities. Then you have the abilities like mine. I can just fucking shoot fire out of my body now. And if someone's...
That's what, like, the pyromancer to me seemed like the coolest, just a name alone.
I'll tell you what, man, I struggled because if you've ever gamed with me, I always go for the tank. Okay. I am Leroy Jenkins, all right? I prefer the tank because, let's be real, they usually have the most health, the most protection, and don't require as much skill as some of the other classes may require. So when I was reading these classes, it took me probably 10 minutes to pull the trigger on Pyro, and it was my inner voice just going, dude, you're always the fucking tank. It's always the same thing. Try something different. And Pyro's like, oh, you attack at a medium range. You got fire abilities. When you light people on fire and you kill them, you get more health. I was like, fuck it. I can get down with that.
That sounds fucking
They
awesome.
all sounded cool. And that's the other thing. It's like, oh, shit, maybe I should roll back in and try one of the other classes before the main game comes out to figure out who I really want to be. Because once you pick a class, you are locked in. This is not... you can just rotate in and out. Apparently, you can have 6 characters overall, kind of like Destiny. Whoa, puberty time! Unlike Destiny, it sounds like you still would have to swap a character in and essentially start back over. You can share loot, but in the end, I love it. I like the world. I like the gameplay. I like the concept. What's even better, the gravy on top, it is cross-play. And 3 people co-op campaign, drop in, drop out. So
that's pretty cool. I like it. I see that, like, I didn't really play around with it or anything like that, but I know that, like, based off of the stuff that I've read about it, like, you can even choose to, like, turn crossplay on and off.
Yes.
I don't know why you would ever want to have it off. Like, it doesn't make any sense to have it off, but It is one of those games that, like, in a landscape that is relatively bare in terms of, like, interesting new titles to play, this seems like this could catch my attention at least. I mean, there's a lot of shit that I need to play and that I've been saying that I need to play. Like, I have to finish Horizon, I have to finish The Last of Us 2, and, you know, a lot of other games from the previous generation that are out there. But at this point in my life, I'm not like a completionist. Like, I'll play what I want to play. If something grabs my attention, I will focus on that for a long time. And if I choose to go back and finish Horizon, then I'll do it. If I don't finish it and I pick up the second game and I like it, I won't even finish it. I'll just play the second game.
Yeah, my advice at this point,
fucking care
because
anymore.
I think Horizon 2 is on the horizon.
Yeah, it's pretty close. There we go.
Good. I would just forget the first game, bro. I started it up. It's so fucking big now with all the expansions.
Yeah, because I have the Forbidden.
Oh yeah,
one of the expansions, the Forbidden West one.
You probably have
whatever it's
the
called.
most. It's like Horizon Complete Edition at this point in time.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that is what I have.
And I'm not gonna lie, the game looks fucking beautiful. I can see why everyone loved it, why it got a sequel, why it went from just being new IP to a sequelized franchise. You're not gonna get it done. There's at this point in time, it's like a 4 or 5 year old game. Just be like me, take it like a man, and just move on to the second. What I need to do, because I was digging the story in Horizon, I need to just find somebody on YouTube, that made like a 4 hour long movie and just catch parts of it or summarize it, because it's not getting done. But just to kind of wrap this up, huge so far, and I'm talking maybe an hour and a half, hour 40 in, really enjoying Outriders. It checks a lot of boxes for me. Who knows what the full experience is going to be like, but just based on what I spent, I have no qualms purchasing this game and recommending it to other gamers who I think would like it. I don't know. I just think this game has potential to get people together, to play. There's a lot to do. I've heard the campaign, if you just fuck with the campaign, single player, you're looking at 25 to 30, but if you want to maximize it, they're saying you can get upwards of 100 hours out of the game.
That's all.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's been a while probably since Ghost, to where I threw in a game and I've just thought of it, and this is just last night. It's very fresh on the mind. But yeah, like I said, let's get through this fucking show so I can go fire the demo back up.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good feeling. That's a good feeling to have, is when you have something that you're actually excited about.
And it's taken, I mean, really, it was the end of 2020 and into most of 21 to where I've really gotten back into gaming. The 10 years of working in it, I don't want to say ruined it. I enjoyed that experience. I loved getting to do what I did with Entertainment Buddha, but it does ultimately turn the hobby into a jobby, and you feel obligated to review a bunch of games that they're sending you that you probably wouldn't want to play. So by the time you can play games you want to play, you don't want to play games. But I've broken free of that. It's been great to get back to it. It's obviously cut into the toy photography a bit, but that's okay. I'm having a good time with my Game Pass, playing fucking demos and all that fun shit.
Yeah. And then so quick the U.S. is ending news before we jump in here. The Texas state governor, my state, has said that he's ending the statewide mask mandate and all businesses can now open at 100% capacity.
Perfect.
So fucking
see, people,
great.
All you have to do is live in Texas to be virus free. But we've done a good job we've done a great job in the United States of only making certain cities or states virus free. We can't make the whole country virus free, but certain states, fuck it. It never existed in a lot of these states. So
yeah, Texas, for example. But anyway, let's get into Star Wars
science,
time
man.
here.
Fuck science. Woohoo! Deregulate that virus, Nick. It ain't real. That COVID vaccine's got a tracker in it. It's gonna find you. Bill Gates is gonna find you.
Oh man, we just shot all of the virus with the guns in Texas. We just shot it.
You're like you took the Elmer Fudd approach, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, the Yosemite Sam. Here we go.
Wascally wabbit. You're just like,
oh, man.
Shoot, we shot that virus good with our M80s and our howitzer guns, because the Second Amendment, I need to protect myself with a 50 caliber sniper rifle, because when a robber comes into my house, I got to make sure to turn his body into giblets.
Okay, so that was an interesting piece of news that just came across the wire. But anyway, we actually do have a couple of interesting pieces to talk about this week on the actual
real
Star
quick,
Wars
and we will move
show.
on. Clone Wars rewatch continues, and there's definitely a Razor Crest model aptly featured in the episode titled Bounty Hunters.
I remember, yeah. I remember you dropping that in the Discord. Another reason to be in a Discord, you get a little Easter eggs.
Yeah, you never know
like
when I'll be watching 10-year-old programs and making points that people probably already know. That's my specialty. Like, hey, did you guys see that show from 10 years ago? And they're like, yeah, dude, it's been out for 10 years, idiot. All right. All right. Let's do it, man. Let me switch up the screens. Let's get into the topics and talk some Star Wars. See ya, Outriders. It's been real. We spoke your name.
Yeah. All right. So in the actual Star Wars time show news feeder, we got a couple of video game items to transition into right now, so that's pretty good. We're talking about Outriders for a bit, but now we're gonna talk about some upcoming releases for Star Wars video games. First up, we're gonna talk about the Republic Commando port. I know we have a huge Republic Commando following here. A lot of our fans are big lovers of this game, so they were excited to hear that the port is going to be hitting soon, this April, in fact, a month away. And it's going to be coming to Switch and PS4.
Hey, what do you think is going on over at Microsoft? Because is this a pissing match with whoever publishes these games? Because they haven't gotten any of these ports that both the Switch and a lot of times the PS4 gets. I mean, I understand why the Switch is an easy platform to go to. It's the weakest of the available mainstream consoles, right? In terms of what it can do. So if you throw some of these slightly up-res ports at it, it's like, hey, big deal. It can handle it. Our 100 meg save file or data file, whatever. But it seems like there is some sort of beef between Microsoft and whoever is publishing these ports of these old Star Wars games, right?
So it's Aspire Media that does all the ports, and to be honest with you, I don't know if Aspire Media just has an issue with Microsoft, or if like ports have a problem with like the Xbox development system. Like, I don't know if there's like, the OS for Xbox just has issues with ports of old games.
Who knows? But
it is weird.
You would think Microsoft being PC first and foremost, it shouldn't matter. I mean, you'd think they'd have the tech to play anything, considering they're PC focused as well. I don't know. I mean, I just it's like not that I really give a shit. I mean, I'm really just pulling shit out of my ass here, but it is weird how the Xbox family doesn't seem to get any of these. I think PS4 maybe they got the Pod Racer. I don't know if they got Jedi Outcast and some of the other ones, but
PS4 did. PS4's gotten every port.
Okay, so it is the Switch and PS4 then for some reason gets these where the Xbox family of consoles does not.
Definitely a good question.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, our fans, I mean, Big Amish just literally said he would sodomize himself with a copy of Republic Commando. So someone get that hooked up and put it on our TikTok.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the video that we need. I know that we have a lot of fans in the community, in our community, that are excited about Republic Commando.
You know what, dude?
Even though it is a
and let's be real, I would play the trailer if we didn't already have one tech issue today, so I think we've used up our graces of tech fuck ups. I'm not going to play it, but if you look at the trailer, they have cleaned up the polygons as much as they can without completely rewriting the game. I mean, and Nick, I know you've seen this in some of the later like Final Fantasy IX. One of these days I threw up on the Xbox because I was waiting for lunch or something to be cooked. And you can tell it's like they make those characters as vibrant and as resolution correct as they can, and then everything else stays in its old generation look. Like in Final Fantasy IX, all the character sprites look fantastic. And
then your environment,
right? And then it looks like they're walking on like poop water and stuff. But Republic Commando, it's kind of the same thing. Like all the characters look as good as they can look still using very defined polygons to form the characters' bodies. I mean, if you're on the live stream, look at the graphic. I mean, you can see the angles in the clones' helmets still. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an old game. Okay. But they did. I mean, for the Switch, they have definitely touched it up. But it is kind of, you know, putting lipstick on a pig type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel two ways about this. It's nice that we're getting all these ports because it is, like, in my opinion, ports and remakes are a great way to introduce, you know, younger fans to games that were so iconic back in the day. You know, this game and then the full remake / remaster of Knights of the Old Republic and the Jedi Knight game, stuff like that. It's great that these games are now being shown to a new audience of kids. But I hope, and I don't know, so that's what I'm saying. I hope that doing these types of things isn't taking away resources that could be used for new experiences, new games that could redefine the Star Wars landscape as we know it now. And, you know, realistically, like, a port probably doesn't cost all that much money. Like you said, you're just kind of cleaning up the main characters and not making it look like it was made 15, 20 years ago.
And dude, at this point, I guarantee you one of these geniuses has just written an AI program that says, here's this game. It was from X years. Do what you can. And it goes through and it up-reses the textures in like a batch job. And, you know, maybe a few hours later, it's like, it spits out the file like, here you go.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of the times too, is like, you know, this Republic Commando port is oftentimes what happens to a game after it's released on Steam and they open up, you know, the Steam workshop to it. You'll have people that go in and make HD, you know, texture packs that you can download and install, and then bang, you got HD textures. And, you know, they kind of do a port / up-res as a community. And they have no development resources. So if that's all it takes is just, you know, just redo some textures, kind of clean up a few edges, then I'm sure that it's not pulling away too much. But I want to see more new games and not as many old games just getting the buff up kind of.
Well, Nick, I couldn't help myself. Like a little kid being told not to do something, I had to hit play on the video.
And this is why nobody can hear it now.
Yeah, but hey, look, we can still hear. So that made me feel good. I feel like I broke through a barrier, if you will. I've been scared to play ever since that one day where I like fat fingered a mute button on a YouTube video and it just blew the entire fucking show up. So
yeah, we were just like nuclear bomb. We had no idea.
I'll tell you what though, dude, and I'm with you 100%. Like new. Just give Ubisoft massive all the resources to this point because they're the only ones really talking about something new. That sounds like it's checking off a lot of our desires, right? Open world, blah, 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 maybe set in the Mandalorian. But this one in particular, because it is a game that I only played once when it first came out, I do think I will grab this for the Switch because, I mean, it makes the most sense to me on a Switch. Mobile it, car rides, if we ever go anywhere again, I may be headed out to the beach in May just to get a change of sceneries. No, I'm not Texas. I understand we're all still fucked. 60,000 cases a day still isn't anything to write home about or be proud about or feel good about. But I know how to keep myself and my family safe. It's not fucking rocket science a year into this. But I do think this game on a Switch is the way to go. I wouldn't do it for PS4. Unless you're a big PS4 remote player, but even then, you're still dealing with connection lag issues. The Switch, you can bring it with you. You can throw it on a big TV if you want to. I just think that mobile platform is very well suited for these port type of games, as long as they keep them at reasonable prices. And I'm talking, I still think for me it would have to be a $9.99.
Like 10 to 15.
Yeah, 15. I could probably 20. No, we're 20. We're getting a little. That's a little too much.
I was going to say for $20, it's like this game is so old and what you've done to it doesn't really justify $20.
Right.
Like, I don't know. We'll see. There's been no price point announced for it yet. PS4 Switch on April 6th. so you can keep an eye out there. So that means we're a little bit over a month away. I'm not sure. So like if you have a PS5 and you don't have a PS4, I don't know how that functionality would work, because it seems like most PS4 games you can play on a PS5, but I don't know how that would work with a ported game.
I would think as long as it shows up in the store on your 5, you're probably good to go. Otherwise, you may not want to fuck with it. Or if you're an asshole like me and you leave all your consoles hooked up, old and new, you probably have a PS4 laying around doing nothing.
Yeah, you still got it.
Do you do that too, or do you just
no?
Well, I'm someone that I'm audio and video file-ish, big time. Well, not big time. It's kind of getting less intense. But I've always been an AV receiver guy. Everything routes through my receiver, so I know I'm getting the best sound a game can put out, be it Atmos, DTS:X, whatever. But by doing that, I also get a shit ton of HDMI ports. So I mean, I think I have 7 or 8 on my current Onkyo unit. Which, if you're not like me and you buy a lot of gear, a lot of devices for your TV, it comes in handy. They're all filled up. I mean, I got like those retro consoles up there, the Switch, Xbox Series X. You got PS4 with the PSVR. You got the PS5. You got an Apple TV. You got an NVIDIA Shield running my fucking Plex library. I mean, it's crazy.
No, yeah. For me, I actually gave my PlayStation 4 to my little cousin after I got my PS5, so I don't even have it.
Did you make him buy it, or did you just give it to him?
I think it was like his mom. So what happened was, like, you know, his parents are separated, and his dad is an asshole, and he wouldn't let the kid take the PS4 between the two houses.
Got you.
So his mom was like, "Look, I'll just give you, like, do you have a PS4? Are you willing to sell it?" I was like, "Yeah. Just give me, like, I don't remember how much it was, but it was minimal."
Good. Because, you know,
so I was like,
kids need to know that shit costs money.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So he has mine now. So all I have is the PS5, Xbox One S, and then the Switch. But for me, like, if I don't have like a receiver or anything like that. I'm not really a huge sound person. If anything, I'll buy a headset that is cross compatible with all of them. And then that'll be my audio fidelity type of situation there. I used to be the type of person who would try to keep all the old consoles, and then I realized that it's just like too much storage. There is a 1 in 100 chance. I mean, like, and here's the thing too, is like a lot of the times, like, you see people like, "Oh my God, you have an original NES. You have like the only old console I have now is a Dreamcast."
Oh, but that's the one I don't have, and I'm jealous, dude.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the only reason I keep it, is because Dreamcast was it was so limited in comparison to a lot of the consoles.
How did you get that? Because you would have been just a little high schooler.
I had it when I was I had it when I was at that age, and I just kept
parents were able to find it and get it for you at that big deal price and all that, or?
So I got it from one of my friends. So one of my friends had a Dreamcast, and he was like, "Hey, he got a PS2 and he didn't want it anymore." So he's like, "Do you want the Dreamcast?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll take the Dreamcast." That's and sweet. I just kept it ever since.
That is one that definitely got away from me. I never had the N64, but as Nick was saying, I am one of those assholes that has kept a lot of my consoles for nostalgia's sake. And he's completely right. Yeah. It's fucking waste of space. I'll do nothing with them, but I feel better as a person
knowing
I've got the NES, the Genesis, PS1.
It gives you cred. It's like that street
PS1,
cred, you know?
I fucking got rid of my PS2, so I fucked that era up. I've got my original Xbox. I've got multiple 360s because I was a jerk off by that point in time, where I had Xboxes that I would take with me on trips just to take, like in a fucking suitcase, and the suitcase had a TV built into it. Like that's how fucking hardcore I used to be.
See, like at this point, I basically either trade in or get rid of the generation before, like sell it the generation prior once I get the new one.
And I got a lot of consoles when I was in the gaming thing. I mean, I got the Xbox One X sent to me for free, the S. Not the S, but anyways, I've been doing what you're doing, and my nephews all be like, "Hey, here's a Christmas gift," and just give them that.
The only things that I would consider keeping are like ones that are considered like rare. But now no consoles are rare. Every console sells 100 million units. Right. Every console is so saturated that
consoles are really they're really only worth crazy money when they first come out. They're almost opposite of collectibles, because collectibles, you have a set amount, you buy that pull. If you got one of the limited pieces, great, they're never going to be made again. Consoles, they start out in limited quantities and then they scale up to mass production.
Like right now, we could sell our PS5 for over market value because you still can't get one.
Of course,
you still can't get one. But until like after the stock, the supply meets the demand,
it's nothing.
There's no point.
Or these assholes, Nick, within a year or two, will be like, "Oh, this is the PS5 Neo. It's got a battery compartment on its back," and we're like, "What the fuck?" But I got to get it. It's new.
PS5 Pro
exactly. Thank you. I mean it.
But that's why I get in. Like people are like, I don't know why you always get the first console. And the reason I do it is because I get the first console, I have it for 2 years. And then when they've released the updated one, I don't feel bad about like, okay, well, I've had this one for 2 years. Now I can get the updated one.
Yeah. And if GameStop's still around, they'll give you $20 for your old console if you trade it towards a new one.
I'm a GameStop shareholder.
That's right.
I have one share of GameStop.
Right. Did you attend?
And
did you attend the shareholders meeting?
I did not, but it went back. The stock went back up over the weekend, so I had 3 shares and I sold 2 of them. So I'm just holding on.
Oh, dude, the markets are all fucked up. I mean, crypto it's almost hit 60, and then people start turning the lights off on that. Now it almost crashed down to the low 40s again. The stock market has been dick the past 2 weeks. It's all a gamble, my friends. Don't let anyone ever try to tell you that the economy is based on the stock market or the stock market is anything but a casino. Because that's all it is. It's a fucking casino. Unless you have a guaranteed rate of return, you're gambling.
Yeah. It's all a joke. So anyway, Republic Commando port this April 6th for PS4 and Switch. Get ready for it if you're one of those console owners. If you're not and you have a PC, you can download it on Steam.
I guess the one upside of PS4, especially if you're someone that used to be like me, if you're into trophy hunting or achievement hunting, you are going to get a new set of trophies, which I think that's pretty fucking cool. I mean, that'd definitely be a selling point for the PS4 version over Switch, because even to this day, it's not nearly what it used to be. But I'll tell you what, when I do something in a game and that little thing pops up like the boop, I do feel like I've achieved something in life, and I smile a little bit and go, hey. I mean, dude, I was so into achievements on the 360. To this day, my chat notification is the Xbox 360 achievement notification sound. Yeah, like that. Bloop.
Okay.
Yeah. Hardcore.
Nice.
I used to think that actually meant something when you had a lot of gamer score like that. Like,
it's like, yeah, bitch, I'm the best.
Dude, when I rolled 100,000, I was like, yeah, motherfuckers, 100,000 gamer score, and no one's clapping for me. I'm like, what? What? Come on.
Dude, they used to but they used to do shit for that. Like if you hit like a X amount of gamer score, they would send you like a plaque or some shit like that. Like,
I mean, achievement hunting. There's a few people that jumped on it and turned it into careers via YouTube channels or
like Rooster Teeth.
Exactly.
Has their entire achievement hunter wing.
It was huge, man. I mean, I every new game. I mean, my game buying habits were regulated by achievements for probably 2 or 3 years. I'd go rent fucking dumb games if they're like, oh yeah, you can get 1,000 achievement score in 10 minutes. I think it was like one of the first NBA games where they didn't have achievements figured out yet. They're like, oh yeah, if you make a 3-point shot, 500 points. It's like, sweet.
It's a great, easy.
Or lining up, be like, hey Nick, you want to meet online at 3? All right, we'd meet up. Be like, okay, I'll stand in the middle of the arena. You come up and you punch me in the face 5 times with that weapon, and then I'll do it. I mean, it was so fucking slapdicky, but I loved it.
I remember doing shit like that. Like, oh yeah, you would literally just go online. It's like, oh, this is easy. We can get this.
Yeah, it was called boosting, right? It was achievement boosting. Yeah. All right. So there you go, Republic Commando. I think I might check it out, but it releases a couple days after Outriders and after my little spiel on that. I don't think I'll be getting it right away.
Yeah, Matt's gonna be. It's gonna be the addiction zone again for Matt, just like Ghost. He's gonna be in it. He's gonna buy his own suit of armor. He's gonna be hiding under his desk. Oh my God, they got the fucking guys right by me.
You better watch out. So, but I plan to at least put it on my Nintendo watch list because it'll eventually hit a $9.99 or like a $6.99 sale. Yeah. That'll be the time where my willpower will weaken and I'll be like, all right, fuck it, let's get it.
Yeah, here we go. One more piece of game news before we jump into the rest of our news pieces here, and this is a bit of your arena, Matt. You're a big VR guy.
And I'll tell you what, I know, Nick, you're probably laughing at this one and other people.
I was literally, but I was like, really?
You're like, this guy just wasted effort on posting this when he could have posted something that he told me to post instead. I know the conversations Nick has. Anytime I send him a Slack, he's like, fuck. This fucking idiot. Look at he's posting about Star Wars Pinball VR, and I got to write this shit up about Erdina's whatever her name is. But anyways, I'm not totally fucking around on Star Wars Pinball VR. I'm not kidding. Like I like virtual reality in spurts. I mean, you got my thoughts on Squadrons a few months back. I think it was one of the most expertly done flying VR experiences I've ever had, and it was Star Wars, so that was just the extra cherry on top. But we got an announcement from Zen Studios that they make all the digital pinball games, and I don't know if people are in the digital pinball. I've played the standard Star Wars pinball, and it's fun. I mean, it's pinball, but in digital form. As someone who grew up with real arcades, it's that has never translated for me, playing on a table versus playing digital pinball.
That's the reason that I can't get into this shit, is because like I had a pinball machine in my garage. Okay. Like my dad bought a busted KISS pinball machine, so it was like the official KISS pinball.
I got my tongue out
machine, and he fixed it, and we would play. We would literally go in our garage. He rigged it to where you didn't need quarters. You just hit the free play button, and we would just sit there for hours, bang, 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 and like we would literally we would rack up scores that you couldn't even imagine. Like it was insane. It was so fun, and that's why I could never get into
I get you, man. It's why I preface it that way. It is weird to play digital pinball, even though they are technically fun, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's not even remotely the same as playing practical pinball. And it depends on when you were born if you give a fuck about that or not. But as Nick just kind of proved my point, if you grew up playing real pinball, sometimes these digital pinballs just don't quite scratch that itch for you.
You want that. You want to be able to give the machine a pop to get the ball to jump over.
Oh yeah,
the way
without
you
tilting it. Yeah, you always had to figure out how to slap it a little bit before the machine would tilt out and just stop. I don't, dude. That's funny you had that, because I grew up next to somebody, my buddy Bardo, who works on Stern now. His dad ran a bar, and I don't know if they would come from there or whatever, but he would have literal arcade cabinets, like not the 1UP shit that we can get now, which don't get me wrong, I think what 1UP has done for arcade machines, and I'm assuming they just jam in Android emulators into them. Yeah. But you could buy the MK cabinet, the Street Fighter cabinets, the Marvel vs. Capcom, TMNT, Simpsons, fucking great stuff. But I'm talking 1980s legit arcade cabinets, the big fucking ones that you don't have to put on risers. But like Nick was saying, there was something about playing an arcade machine in someone's house and being able to open the money door. And it sounds like your dad just programmed it not to accept money. We'd actually open it and we'd flick the little arm that counted the quarters coming in, and we'd be like, yeah, look at all these credits. Like, because the game he had, it was Pleiades, which is kind of like Space Invaders, I guess, but not Space Invaders, where you had a ship and you had to shoot things coming down at you. But the amount of fun we had playing on an actual arcade cabinet and for free, I think the key was being able to do it for free, either like Nick said, the press start, or getting in there and jerking off the quarter arm. Man, those were the days of gaming.
It really does. Like it's hard to beat that once you have that tactile sensation, and like just like you mentioned too, like when arcades were still a thing, it was so different because like you put your quarter up there. I got next. I remember the Street Fighter, the Mortal Kombat arcade cabinets and stuff like that. Even like I even played like the original trilogy, like arcade game for Star Wars, where you're like sitting in a seat and you're like, going back and forth. You're doing the trench run. You're fighting Vader and
Nick,
all this shit.
It's literally called Star Wars Trilogy, and that is one of the best Star Wars arcade games ever. They've created some modern takes on it where it feels a little more virtual. There's like a wraparound screen, but kind of the same idea. Wow. But the one you're talking about, I would love to have that sitting in my basement, sitting outside, because you fly, you use a joystick for lightsabers, you fight Boba Fett at the Sarlacc pit. But man, arcades were just something else, and it is something that they're pretty much gone.
I think what's going to end up happening, and they're starting to pop up in certain cities, like these barcades. I'm sure that you have some in Ohio. Around you, but like it's literally turned into like people of our age. Here you can play arcade games and you can get drunk, and is it
actual cabinets or some tables have consoles and controllers? Because I've seen that too, where tables will have modern stuff, but
no, the ones that around here, the ones that I'm aware of, they're all like, I don't know if they're vintage cabinets or if they are the one-up cabinets, but they're arcade cabinets. You go there and you just play, and you can get beer, you get whatever.
Look at young Liam, like a Dave and Buster's. Yeah, sort of. But Liam, back in the day when we were little kids, or me in particular, because Nick's still almost a '90s baby. But we literally had things just called the arcade. It was nothing but arcade machines, skee ball, things to win tickets, and then redeem those tickets for shitty prizes. There was no food. There was no drinks. You just came in with your rolls of quarters like I did, or your dollar bills from your parents, and tried to cash them out. Mm-hmm. And that you got your tokens, right? Because a lot of places you couldn't even...
They didn't give you quarters. They gave you tokens.
Cash in your cash for tokens to use on the machines. It was just a gaming experience that probably will never be recaptured. I know a lot of beaches or boardwalks maintain the arcades, which, my family and I, we love to do when we go out to Rehoboth or Ocean City. But it just is, man. I can't tell you how many Saturdays my buddies and I would be like, Hey, Mom! We saved up $10 in quarters. Can you take us to Ross Park Mall? And she'd be like, all right, drive us to Ross Park Mall. And she'd be like, okay, I'll be back in 3 hours or whatever. We'd be like, okay. Dude,
that was the shit, man.
And like Nick said,
it's like
you'd have to, if two people are playing Mortal Kombat, winner stays, loser pays. You'd come up, you'd slap your quarter and be like, got next. Whoever lost would have to leave unless they already had a quarter pre-placed, and you'd play the winner. If you won, you stay on the machine till someone beat you off. That didn't sound great, especially for little kids. I did not get beat off by older men in the arcade. It just, the English didn't come out properly that time.
Yeah, until somebody defeats you, until you're felled in battle. But yeah, I mean, I can see why these games are popular, though. I can see why these digital pinball versions, these VR versions are popular, because it does try to recapture that.
There you go. Feeling. And that is, honestly, that's the main reason I ran this. I do like, I guess you could call me a VR enthusiast. I'm not going to push it on anyone. It definitely has kind of pittered out like we all knew it would because of software. Yeah, look, the chat's going crazy. I love it. People bringing up memories. Chuck E. Cheese was another one. Yep. I mean, yeah, they had those creepy ass animatronic, the band like and the pizza, but it's the same idea. Go to Chuck E. Cheese, play skee ball, get your tokens, try to win a cheap piece of shitty plastic toy from China, but you loved it. But it was the Mortal Kombat's, the Street Fighters, and really that was the root of competitive gaming. It came from the arcades, and it's why arcades are dead now, because we can all do it from the comfort of our home. But back to the point here. We got to put this VR story to bed. I didn't think we'd get this many legs out of it, but here we go. As Nick just said, I do think pinball in VR can get closer to that arcade experience. Because if you watch the trailer that we put out on StarWarsTime.net for Star Wars Pinball VR, you're going to be there. You're going to be standing at a table. I would assume if you're using the PS Move, you'd use both of the dildo controllers. And I bet if you tap on a button, it vibrates to give you some sort of haptic feedback. I don't know, like Nick said, if we could reach out and grab the table and try to shake it to get to manipulate the ball's roll. But that's would be different for digital pinball. They've also added mini games that are going to incorporate VR stuff, like piloting a speeder bike through a level. They give you a digital space for nuts like us, collect stuff and display it, like Grogu dolls or trophies for this or medals for that or other little figures and knickknacks that you can collect in a virtual space. So while I don't think Star Wars Pinball VR is going to light the world on fire or resurrect the medium and be the next must play, like it's not going to sell hardware. But I do think for the right price, if you've already got the equipment, it could be an interesting way to consume digital pinball that just so happens to be themed after that galaxy from far, far away.
Yeah. I think I appreciate it, and if it's at the right price for the game, then I could see, picking this up. If you, like you said, if you already have the hardware, this being a really fun journey, especially for older fans like us who played original cabinets and stuff like that. This could be really fun. I will say, Matt, I don't know if you saw this. We were talking about it initially, like right when the PS5 released and talking about VR, but the PS5 will have its own VR headset. And I think it's going to be Oculus developing it.
It's still going to be corded though.
Oh, it's still
corded? Which is just fucking just ridiculous. Because, I mean, I'm still friends with a guy at Sony, and he told me that like a couple weeks ago when it was still the official press release. So I'm not like, I had an inside scoop. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still going to be fucking cabled, and that just dumbfounds me. It's like, why?
I mean, especially because when I saw it, like Sony put out their announcement, like VR's coming to PS5, don't worry. They didn't give any specifics, but then Oculus retweeted it or quoted the tweet, and they were like, "Oh yeah, super hyped about this." So I in my head, I was like, maybe Oculus is working with them to develop.
It's either that or they're pretending that they want their competitors to do well, but they're really just jumping on the kind of the PR boost, right? Like, hey, maybe we can get mixed up in this announcement and get some Oculus verbiage out there.
Yeah, exactly.
No, if it were me, this game is ideal. Any virtual reality game is ideal for the Quest 1 or 2 because they're standalone. No cables. You get the controllers and the headset. That's it. I'm assuming the games are loaded right on board the headset and you're off to the races. But yeah, that did bum me out. PS5 is going to get its own PSVR, but it will still have one cable. And they were proud of that. They're like, and it's only going to have one cable. And I'm going, fuck you. Like one cable is one cable too many.
Yeah, I guess it's like because your games aren't on board the headset, like that lag between like the data sharing, the Bluetooth data sharing between the headset and the console would probably just make it really awkward, probably really laggy.
I guess it made my decision of not adopting future PlayStation VR tech easier though. So I guess I can thank them for that.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, like now that I'm making a little bit more money, like the Quest, like you mentioned, the non-tethered headsets may be something that I could mess around with in the future because it does give you that freedom of movement. Yes. You're not bound to one honestly, area. I don't have to worry about pulling shit off a wall.
You're getting the better games first. I mean, they pretty much developed the hardcore VR now for Quest. And then it might port down to PSVR, kind of like Vader Immortal did. I mean, it took almost a year to get that on PSVR. The new Star Wars game coming out, like the Batu one or whatever the fuck it is with C-3PO, that I believe is only Quest to start. So yeah, I definitely, you got money burning a hole in your pocket. Don't do one that requires anything to plug in anywhere.
Yeah, that's my.
I mean, unless it's like some sort of sex toy attachment that I can use for virtual porn, I don't want any fucking cables in my virtual reality.
Yeah, no, definitely agree. So we'll see. I just paid off my Amazon credit card in full after I got my paycheck yesterday.
Booyah.
So now I got some spending room there. I might be able to put one of these on the credit card.
Yeah, there you go. Is it like an actual Prime card where you can get their 12-month financing and all that shit?
Yep.
Oh yeah, we've got one of those, dude. We treat it like it's not even real money. This past year, I think we've given Amazon, and I'm not fucking around, between groceries and just other shit we didn't feel like leaving for, $6,000, $7,000.
Yeah.
Because that card, dude, like you put that card in there, you're like, yeah, just keep it on that. We'll keep earning points. Look, we spent $2,000 and we got 50 points back. Yeah, what a deal. Now we can spend those points on more Amazon shit. So it's just one big loop of Amazon.
That's the only thing you could use it for. Yeah, it's not like another credit. It's not like a different travel card where it's like, oh, I spent all this money. Now I can save money on a trip that I could travel to. No, It's like, I spent all this money on Amazon and now I can spend more money on Amazon.
But yeah, I'm a big proponent of programs that offer no interest for a set period of time. It's gotten me through every big TV purchase, whether I had the money or not. These days, thankfully, I probably could just buy some of these TVs, but even the one I just got, the Samsung Q80T, I rolled to Best Buy. I'm like, yeah, man, throw it on my Best Buy card. I know I'll get the 18-month, no interest, no big deal. I'll just make $200 payments a month. It really is. It's a good way. Don't get me in trouble here, young Liam. It's a good way to learn how to use credit wisely.
No, it really
because it teaches you how to make recurring payments at a set value that you always have to hit, and it can get you some of these bigger boy and girl toys that you may not have the cash to just go out and be like, hey, here's $3,000.
Liam gets all of this free from TikTok.
I know. I keep forgetting.
Call his TikTok account manager. He says, hey, I need an Oculus Quest 2 for my upcoming video.
At the end, he says, and my fucking name better be inscribed on it or I'm returning the sender.
Right? No, but Liam says that everything's turning into Ready Player One. Soon it will be like
hope
that.
So.
Like soon everybody will be living in the Oasis.
I mean, let's be real. That would be fucking awesome. I love that movie. I know people are like, oh, it's just visuals.
We just watched it like 2 weeks ago.
It's a good fucking movie.
We saw it in the theaters too, but it's good.
It's a damn good movie. I mean, I guess I should have read the book because it's from a guy that I think lives in Columbus or lived in Ohio.
It's
set in Columbus.
He lives in Austin now.
Right. But I think he's from where I'm at, moved to where Nick's at.
I think so.
And I know there's a sequel coming too, or at least the book. Maybe the book is out.
The sequel is out. Taylor read it already. Right. Taylor reads shit like she is on the new releases, and she really. Here's the thing, like she has no like geek knowledge or cred. So like she read the first book before we started dating, like long before. And like after we started dating, like I exposed her to all of this stuff.
Was she like, yo, who is Jaws or who's King Kong?
So literally she told me, she's like, oh, like after we started dating, I finally got some of the references in the book. And like she read the new one and she's like, there's still stuff in there that I don't get, because it's like the new one is way more focused on like video game culture than the first one was. So like, and she still really like, she doesn't play video games a lot. We've tried a few things like Overcooked. I don't know if you've ever played that. Like we played that a little bit, but like she just can't get into the video game
what Nick
space.
Is saying is his lady love uses her time wisely to culture herself and make herself a better person, not to sit around and debate for 4 hours a week on science fiction properties that aren't real.
Yeah, exactly. Like she's not a degenerate. Like Taylor is a high
we need them all.
Adult.
We need all types. We need nudnicks like you and I that waste life on pop culture shit that means nothing in the grand scheme of things. And we need people to actually, wipe our asses for us and pay attention to real life. But anyways, Star Wars Pinball VR, look for it April 29. It's not platform exclusive. It's Oculus Quest 1 and 2, PlayStation VR, and Steam VR.
Indeed. All right. So now we're out of the video game realm, people. We're moving into some real news, some potentially real news, some probably fake news, and then we're going to get into our fan segment. And the first piece that we got up here for the real news is the Bad Batch release date. So when we initially put this out, we put it out as a leak because Collider initially threw up an article and they're like, Disney has announced that the Bad Batch is coming out.
They definitely jumped the gun because, and this goes to show you how aloof Nick and I are. Apparently last Wednesday or Tuesday was like some Star Wars fan celebration day where they made this announcement official and they announced some of the toys we're going to talk about. But we were not on top of fan celebration day.
we missed out on that, but they definitely. So Collider put it out early. They probably got the PR announcement from Disney with the NDA saying like, hey, don't release this until this time. And Collider jumped out. But then shortly after, the official Star Wars came out and they were like, yes, May the 4th, Disney Plus, so Star Wars Day, your Bad Batch is going to be up and ready to go. Start streaming. So it's going to be just like every other Disney Plus release. It's going to be episodic, so you're not going to get the whole thing right up front. But we're going to get it's here. May 4th
and that is obviously I would assume it's going to move to a Friday cadence, but just so everyone knows, May the 4th is going to be a Star Wars Time show day. And no one should expect us to do anything special. Okay, I want to put that out there right now. I mean, we suck at that type of stuff. Like I said, we missed fan celebration last week. You're for damn sure we're not going to do anything special for May the 4th.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If we think of it, Matt will have definitely watched the Bad Batch episode. I probably will have too.
Oh my God, you're right, dude. Holy shit, I'm thinking about that right now. That's going to...
I do not try to do the full breakdown and review before the show. You will drive yourself mad.
I will try my best, but it's not going to happen. I guess we really need to figure out are we going to get 2 that week, or do you think will be? There's no way it's going to be Tuesdays. There's no way. Disney's made it clear they're a Friday shop. Period. They're doing it with Marvel. Yeah. And by the way, we should have known this date. It's an easy pickup, but if you look at when Falcon and Winter Soldier are going to kick off, which I think is coming up soon, and we've said this before, Disney is never going to have any of its live action shows concurrently running at the same time. They're always going to be staggered. So I believe
March 19th.
There you go. And I think it's only 6 episodes. So that show,
final episode air date is April 23rd.
There we go. So we're going to have like a week or two of downtime. But that's what they're doing. I mean, WandaVision, I believe, ends this week. We'll have a couple weeks, like Nick said. Then Captain or Winter Soldier, whatever the fuck it is going to kick off. And then Bad Batch, and then blah blah, and then blue, and then blee. No, there is something coming in June or in July, I believe, too, on Disney Plus.
Q2, yeah.
One of the Marvel ones.
Yeah, might be a little.
All right, we got an update from the peanut gallery here. 2 that week is a plan, which makes sense. It's how they did the Mandalorian season 1. Remember, we got like that special. Yes. Early drop on whatever special Star Wars fake holiday it was, and then it moved to its Friday date. All right, so that's going to be a fucking busy week for me. That's cool. But hey, Bad Batch is here. It's coming. We finally know the date, and we know, I think we're going to get some great content. I think we're going to get some great revelations from it. I think it's going to fill in some of the gaps with characters that have moved on into future shows like Rebels, Mando, Rangers, so on and so forth. Absolutely. We know Fennec's going to be introduced. There's a good chance we may find out Cody's fate. Remember, I'm thinking he could be that special commando or in that unit. I think we may even see some shit happen with Ahsoka and Rex, even if it's just communication, like them checking in with the Bad Batch. Or needing to help the Bad Batch or vice versa. Because we know they're going to be on Commando during the big Empire Day speech, if you will. And it looks like the other clones aren't quite going to jive with what the Bad Batch is thinking after that speech. So I think it's gonna show us a lot of great stuff that we haven't known about. That's gonna fill some gaps in, and it's really gonna show at a ground level the absolute chaos that was taking place with the clones in the galaxy as Palpatine transitioned from his fake war with the Separatists to taking over the galaxy as the Emperor.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect transitionary show from the Clone Wars era into the now Imperial era. And I'm sure, like, you know, if this goes on for a little bit, you may even get some you know, mix-ups with some potential, like some Rebels characters. You could see Hera Syndulla, messing around with the Bad Batch a little bit, or, you know, you may get Kanan and Jarrus interacting
Grogu,
with the Bad Batch.
I mean, you don't know. Like we know for a fact that Grogu was chilling during the Clone Wars.
In the temple.
Right? So
yeah, like he was saved from the temple by somebody.
Big Amish, and this is another one I know we've mentioned here. Gregor and Wolf need a little explanation. We know how Rex made it out of the Clone Wars now, but we don't exactly know how his two compatriots in that AT-TE, how they got out. So, I mean, that could be touched on this. Like I said, a lot of stuff with Fennec. I mean, it seems like she's going to be kind of the foil to Bad Batch, but we're going to get some backstory to a character who is going to be quite front and center these days in the live action universe, probably Book of Boba, probably crossing back over in Mando, and I think Fennec also is suited well for the Rangers show if they choose to use her.
We may even get some Boba Fett in there. Like, we may get some real ass Boba Fett, because you would have to figure, for Boba to save Fennec the way that he did, they had to know each other before.
Yeah, I've heard legends. Yeah, sure. I agree.
So we could get some young Boba, and there's a lot of good possibilities that can come from this show. And like I said, it's the perfect connection point between Clone Wars and Rebels, like that eventual connection point where those two shows meet. So I'm excited about it. Star Wars keeps rolling. We got more content coming out all the time. So Bad Batch is going to be another one where we're going to be heavily invested.
Yeah, I think this is another series where people, the angrier types, probably roll their eyes at, like, oh, why are they doing the Bad Batch? Because I mean, and they'll all rewrite history, but I remember last year at this time when the Clone Wars was going through its final season and the first 4 episodes were Bad Batch focus. Why do we have to start with these guys? I mean, that's all I hear now from most Star Wars fans. It's it's like, come on. I mean, what else you got to bitch about? Why does everything have to be a fucking issue?
I know that some people have already come out and said, well, all the Bad Batches is Disney replacing the Republic Commando squad. You know, that group of clone characters that people, you know, attach themselves to. I mean, Commando.
Those characters were just for the game. I mean, I'm assuming they probably had a comic or a book here or there, but they weren't in the Clone Wars and all this fun stuff. Who cares? Give it time. Let it breathe. I mean, these are the same people that probably hated Ahsoka Tano when she showed up with her little whiny voice in the movie. And now look at how people hold Ahsoka. I mean, she is a goddess of Star Wars. So, I mean, come on. Just let shit play out.
People are saying that she's the best character in Star Wars, period, which arguably that's could
she definitely has figured out how to Jedi better than any Jedi ever Jedi'd. And she's not a Jedi, so think about that. You know, stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
She's done pretty good for herself. But Bad Batch release date, May 4th. If you guys are not on it, if you are one of the people who are, you know, kind of cancel Disney Plus, renewed Disney Plus, cancel Disney Plus, renew Disney Plus, get your renewal ready for 2 months from now, because the Bad Batch content will be here.
And I mean, you got fucking Rambo in it. You got a guy that doesn't have all his marbles, but he's a big hulking skull. You got a guy that seems like he hates everybody. You got a tech guy, and then Echo. I mean, I don't know. I think there's a lot of good stories.
It's a good dynamic.
A lot of good stories to come out of the Bad Batch. And again, they're the vehicle to fill in the gaps, to tell more stories about stuff we have known a little bit about, but now they're going to flesh it out. I think they're the perfect device, the perfect group of characters to show us more, us diehards more about what was going on at the end of the Clone Wars and how the Empire kind of took root without them being the main focus. I think having them not be Supermains or the Rexes or the Codys of the world will allow fans to kind of take a more broad approach to the Bad Batch and really focus on the world and the events taking place versus what is my favorite named clone going to do this week.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely a good way to get the macro sense of everything that's happening post Clone Wars. So excited
10
about
episodes
it.
Probably.
Put it on your
I guess we should have done some work.
10.
I'm assuming 10.
Let me see if there's anything
Disney has
on it.
no set cadence anymore. I mean, fucking WandaVision, it starts out black and white, then it's color, then it's real timeline. There's 9 episodes, not 10. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? I mean, Kenobi might be 6 episodes. Yeah. Winter Soldier, 6 episodes. I mean, what is it, Disney? Can we just like get nice rounded numbers? 8, 10?
I think it's just like they're probably to a certain degree letting the creators decide, like, hey, what do you want season 1? Do you want 6? Do you want 8? Do you want 10? Because 9 is just so random.
Weird number. And I don't know if Bad Batch is going to become a series. I know it says original series, but I guess it comes down to how far Filoni wants to flesh them out and how far he wants to take that story past the fall of the Republic.
I mean, I will assume, like, I'm going to go with 8 because that's been like kind of the sweet spot so far. And I don't think that we're ever going to get a 22 episode run series you got from like old cable stuff like that. Like, these are going to be very, I don't want to say limited, but they're going to be shorter runs, 8 to 10, 22-minute long episodes. And then you also have flexibility within that. You can go 22 minutes, you can go 30, you can go 32.
See, these, I don't know. I'm sticking with just like Clone Wars Season 7. I think these stay true to TV time for a cartoon. I think 22 to 24. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to get.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Kingdom of Weird in the chat. He's saying the Bad Batch are the Clone Wars versions of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's not far off. I mean, Wrecker's kind of the Michelangelo, right? Or would he be the Raphael? Wrecker's like the big guy, like, just let me run into a wall.
I think he'd be the Michelangelo because he's kind of dumb too. He doesn't take anything too seriously. Rafa is probably Hunter. Yeah, 100%. Right? And then Leo is Tech.
No, Leo would be Hunter. Raph would be Crosshairs. Because Crosshairs, he's kind of like the angry loner type. And then obviously Donatello would be homeboy Tech or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call, Kingdom of Weird. Call. I agree. And I don't know. I dig him. And we'll be talking about one of them down the road here. One of his action figures got teased and it actually looks pretty cool.
Very. Yeah, all right. True. So moving on to some not really, new news, but this is a story from the writer of Rogue One, Gary Whitta. He's a fun guy to follow on Twitter. If you like video games, if you like Star Wars, if you're okay with the occasional political commentary, Gary Whitta is a fantastic follow.
What Nick meant to say there, if you're right wing, you probably aren't going to like Gary Whitta.
Yeah. No, Gary is very
people like him seem to really trigger you right leaning individuals.
Yeah, he's very left-leaning in his political commentary. He lives in San Francisco. He's from the UK. In terms of his Star Wars cred, he's, like I said, he's a writer of Rogue One. He did writing on Star Wars Rebels, and then he also wrote other things. He wrote Book of Eli, which is that movie with Denzel Washington.
He's got some decent credits, huh?
Yeah, The Walking Dead as well. So he's pretty been
around.
Name.
He's been around.
Yeah. So Gary was out on Twitter having some fun, and he posted up something where he essentially shared with all of his Twitter followers the other potential names for Rogue One. So this is an email. So he sent out an email to Lucasfilm with what names that him and his writing partner had come up with for the movie. And what we see, one of them is kind of a funny one, but on that funny one, I'd like to note on it when we get there. But first up, we see Star Wars Rebellion. Then we see Rogue One. Then we see Star Wars: The Rise of Witta, and then Shadow of the Death Star was the other potential title. And he gives a little bit of background, a little bit of story to why he fought for Rogue One over anything else. He said, one argument I made in favor of Rogue One was as a title was that all of the saga films have titles that are 3 or 4 words long. True for all 9 eventually. So a title comprised only of 1 or 2 words would help differentiate the first standalone movie. It's not wrong
if you think about it.
Yeah. And then what's funny is the Rise of Witta, they literally like shadowed that with the Rise of Skywalker, because if he's proposing these titles for Rogue One released in 2016, that's 3 years before Rise released, and that's pre-Colin leaving. So like this is even before JJ's on it. This is before the Rise of Skywalker title was even probably.
So we can blame Gary for getting that title in the people's heads. Yeah. The Rise of something.
It's all Gary Whitta's fault. But what about these other titles? Do you think that any of these would have worked well in this space? I kind of like Rebellion.
Yeah, it also has that one word type of mantra he was going for, or keep it less than 3 or 4. Yeah, Star Wars Rebellion. Yeah. I mean, let's be real. It's hard to think about other names when we know the name it was given, because it is so damn perfect. It really is. Yeah. Rogue One. It was just a simple call sign. I don't know. Shadow of the Death Star.
Shadow of the Death Star seems like he was reaching into like old.
Oh yeah, it's a very Shadow of the Empire. Like Shadow of That's what Empire. I mean. I don't. I guess I don't mind that. I don't mind Shadow of the Death Star. But like I said, it's Rogue One, so it's hard for my small brain to. Exactly, it's like it's such a well-made name. It's to a lot of people the best Disney Star Wars product so far. At least in movie form. Yeah, I don't know. Rogue One is so perfect.
Yeah, this was just one of those things that I saw across my Twitter feed, and I thought it was pretty interesting to see other things that they had come up with. But apparently, they did throw around a lot of names. Like you see 4 potential titles, and one of them's a joke. And Disney was very quick to say, like, "Hey, let's fucking roll with Rogue One. It sounds good." And the rest is history.
Yeah, and that all comes technically from Bodhi, right? When they're taking the taking that transport, he throws out the call sign there.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're a fan of just like if you follow Gary, he's also posted some other behind the scenes stuff too. Like he posted a behind the scenes picture a couple weeks ago of Chopper right next to like live action Chopper right next to live action R2-D2 on the set of Rogue One, which was really cool. He posted up a lot of other stuff, like, you know, just kind of things that are around all of the other projects that he works on. And he's also very big into the Twitch streaming. So if you guys like to watch Twitch streams, he streams very regularly, plays a lot of different games. Among Us, he'll play Fall Guys, lots of different kind of fun party game types of things. But he's a very solid. That seems to be
the scene these days, isn't it? Like these games like Among Us and whatnot, where they're not... Yeah, I wouldn't call them high-end or masterfully developed games, but they have some aspect to them, some community aspect to where they become a daily addiction.
Oh, dude, it's just like it's a perfect reason for you to get online, right. Especially with Among Us, to get online and just yell at your friends.
Let me break it down, make sure I'm thinking about it correctly. But Among Us, essentially, you're all kind of placed in a level, but one of you is playing the bad guy, but no one else knows. And your goal as the bad guy is what? To make it to the end without getting caught, or to fuck everyone up?
To kill. So like in Among Us, you're trying to kill the crewmates. So like you're running around. Everybody has tasks to do. Basically, like if you've ever played like Werewolf, or if you've ever played some of these like mafia games. Or even like the board game version would be like Resistance or Avalon or Secret Hitler or something like that. So like everybody has tasks to do. So they're running about the ship. Everybody's separated most of the time, doing different tasks. And then the imposter has to go around and kill everybody. But what happens is, so like you're an imposter, you go up and you kill somebody else runs up and they see the body. So like they report the body, and then there's like a big meeting of all the players, and they're like, okay, well, I found the body over here, and I saw, so like I don't know if it's Matt, but like I saw Matt like around where the body was when I found it. So you have to try to like suss out like, okay, is like who's the killers, and then each round you have the option to vote on somebody to like throw out the airlock to eject. So,
I mean, it's got a little clue to it as well, then, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Like you're like, okay, well, he was over here. I know when I was walking past, like I saw Liam. Liam was over in the security wing.
I guess that could be fun. That definitely sounds like it could be fun. I don't know. I just shit happens when you have kids. A lot of people know that have kids. Yeah. You lose a lot of free time. I'm sure I'll get it back when she gets older and literally doesn't even want me to be her butler anymore, because that's basically what I am now. I am daddy butler to a little almost 5-year-old girl now, and I just do her bidding. But you know, I still like it. I like being around there. Yesterday we did, you know, a Clone Wars binge. But there'll be a time when I get some of this free time back, and hey, maybe I'll spend it on toy photography or trying to kill my friends.
Yeah. Eventually, if we ever get around to potentially doing like Star Wars Time Show video game nights, where like, you know, where me and Matt play some video games, I think Among Us would be a fun one to do. Because it is just like you yelling at everybody, like you trying to, if you're an imposter, you're trying to convince people that the other people are, so they vote off the wrong people, and then you end up winning. It would be a fun time, especially with the group of degenerates.
Knowing the way we function outside of the show on our Discord, we would play one night and then fucking hate each other and want to kill each other in real life.
Eventually it could come to that. It could come to very serious hatred of other people.
Fuck, man, that Nick really is a dickhead in real life. That fuck.
Yeah. He fucking lied the whole
Piece
time.
Of that shit with a snake.
Yeah. But all right. So yeah, that was just some fun potential titles for Rogue One. Go give Gary Whitta a follow on Twitter at Gary Whitta if you are a fan of his type of commentary.
Our next one here is I don't know. We hesitated on this one because I mean, quite frankly, talking about posts like this from sites like this just make me feel like an even bigger loser for having a Star Wars site that no one pays attention to outside of obviously you lovely 10 people that watch this live. But this came through leaks today from LRM Online, who has been known for breaking shit that never actually breaks. So get out those big ass grains of salt on this one here. But hey, here's the other note, Nick.
This is a pretty big hedged bet.
This is also something that we more or less exactly said last week from our own sources in quotes. And what we're talking about, this LRM group, they're out there saying that they somehow have an exclusive, yet here's where things get comical, that Hera Syndulla is going to replace Cara Dune on Rangers, where, you know, Nick and I were like, hey, Hera, Rangers, we've been saying that from day one, so I don't really think this is anything juicy. But here's what we want to point out. We, not only do we like talking about these, because it does give us something to speculate on, but we like to educate other people in how to navigate the internet and the information you may come across. For example, even outside of this, last week I was getting hit, and I don't know if you were, Nick, on this post that George Lucas is back. George Lucas is back. Yeah. He's writing for Star Wars.
Writing and
I go, if it doesn't even make it to Reddit leaks, you're for damn sure it is the biggest piece of clickbait shit in the planet. So anytime you see something that may go, holy shit, that's crazy Star Wars news, go to Star Wars leaks first. If it's not there, it's not real. All right? These people... Yeah.
And even some of the shit there is not real. So if you know that is a good filter.
Exactly, because I still think...
This is where fake shit lives. So if it's not even there, then
that's my point. But as Nick said, they still let sites like LRM get stuff on here. Hera Syndulla to replace Cara Dune on Rangers exclusive. Here's the best part. if it's an exclusive, my friends, and you're going to lead with that's your title for clickbait, this should never be your opening sentence. Now remember, this is an exclusive. It's an exclusive with a question mark, so I guess they do have that hedge. But here's the opening statement. Hera Syndulla could be making her live action debut in Rangers of the New Republic. It's like, okay. Yeah. If it's an exclusive, yet you're using a qualifier of could be, what is so exclusive?
Yeah, and you literally throw a question mark into your title.
Like, come on.
Exclusively, we are thinking about this.
What do they say down here?
I mean, like Matt said,
no, we got to go to the scoop, Nick. The scoop. LRM sources over at Lucasfilm have told us that creatives are looking to bring in Hera Syndulla as the bridge to connect the show to the Mandalorian universe. Blah, blah, blah. No shit, Sherlock. I mean, as I started this topic, these two idiots you listen to, we've casted Hera Syndulla for Rangers months ago.
Literally, when the show was first announced, we were like, this is the perfect opportunity to bring in characters like Hera and like the other Zeb and bring in some of these characters. And I know we
just talked about recently, even after the Gina stuff. We're like, Hera again. She has so many great roots, so much potential for the show. She's got her son. They could maybe do some stuff with that. It's just, I don't know. And what bothers me, these people at LRM do not bother me. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They're doing what they got to do to stay alive and feel important. We try to do it here. We just suck at it. What bothers me is that their content, with all these hedged bets and qualifiers and poo flinging, they get traction. And we do not.
Yeah.
That's a fucking problem in my mind. We're doing nothing different than what they're doing here. Like, people could clip up our show and throw it up on Reddit and be like, look, their sources told them something. Makes sense. Sounds good. It's more speculation, but hey, fuck it. They said they have a source, so it must be a leak. Like that's where we're at. That's what flies these days. Some of these people may hit 1 out of 10, but is that worth getting a following? That's what I'm asking. Like, how do we get a fucking following? Do we need more lies, more clickbait, make shit up? That's Nick. Yeah. I mean, I'm being real. That seems to be what flies on the internet these days.
Every thought that we have now just has to be a scoop, or it has to be
just
an exclusive,
sensationalize everything, qualify everything.
Because like you said, we thought about this and we talked about this at length months ago when this announcement, when that Disney investors call first went off, and we had our podcast after. One of the first things we said about Rangers was it would be perfect to see Hera in here. It would be perfect to see some of these characters that could be alive, that could still be around in the Mandalorian timeline, make their way in through Rangers. And now it's just like, oh, it's a leak because we've even started saying that we've heard from our sources, and it still doesn't catch on. We're literally doing nothing different. I mean, I'll give it. I think KRT does have an inside person. They just don't know how to deliver the information. They get excited and they spill the beans too quickly, or they expand upon it too much. I mean, they've had a lot of misses. I don't give a fuck what anyone said. They've had a lot of misses. Their only hit at this point in time was that the Bad Batch was going to be a show, and that's another thing that we all were kind of like, yeah, no shit. They introduced them for 4 episodes. They're just going to throw them away at that point in time. I don't know, but here's where things get crazy. It's just like, do these people even know Star Wars? So here's the final paragraph. At the time of the Return of the Jedi, Hera has achieved the rank of captain. Wrong. She's a fucking general by the end of Rebels, you nincompoops. Come on. If you're gonna make up leaks, at least dot those I's and cross the T's. Don't hedge your bets. Don't say this is a leak and then open with could be. That's what Nick and I do. We speculate, so we're allowed to hedge shit. But guess what? Our speculation has turned out to be pretty damn good here and there. Pretty
so
close.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Start taking what we say and just say we said their source said it and get it out there. We need traction. We need people to quote us. I mean, I lose sleep at night thinking about KRT literally is getting quoted in like the Hollywood Reporter and Deadline now. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Like, what universe are we living in?
Hera Syndulla to replace Cara Dune of Rangers of the New Republic? ? Exclusive. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
And just like to put it out there as my perspective as well, like I don't think that I think that Hera was going to be in the show regardless of what happened with Gina before, like now. So I don't think that there's a replacement happening at all here. I just think that Hera is going to be in the show, and there is no replacement for Cara. It's just that character was already there, and now these people are saying that they're replacing it. So you hit on the firestorm that's around.
And honestly, there's a part of me I would still rather see Hera's story continued in animation form. But she is primed for live action. She's primed for what John and Dave are doing. And this is why I'm glad I've gone through and I rewatch Rebels. Now I'm doing the chrono of Clone Wars. It's very good studying, if you will, preparation for all these shows that are about to happen. Because we just got through the first 3 Mandalore episodes from Clone Wars, and again, it's showing you where these shows can go, material they can pull from. I mean, we got into one where it's Death Watch, but they're not known as Death Watch yet. They're still just the angry Mandalorians that live on Concordia because they can't deal with Satine and the pacifists, and she doesn't even know that Governor Vizsla is the head of Death Watch. I mean, you're getting a lot of good shit. He already had the Darksaber. He tried to fight Kenobi, but looked like a chump. Kenobi was getting hard-ons again for Satine, even though he's always busting Anakin to not have hold on to attachments. But a lot of this shit in the cartoons is going to provide groundwork for what we're going to see in the shows. And Hera is just perfectly suited to be in the live actions, but also to continue carrying the torch of Rebels animated if they do continue that down the road, even though we've learned that there's probably not going to be a direct sequel, but maybe something else, because they're going to take the journey to find Ezra to the Ahsoka show, as we told you, and we'll tell you again. And when it happens, no one will be like, oh, hey, those guys called it exactly, but we're used to it, right, Nick? We're used to it. We're not the LRMs and the KRTs of the world. We're just the SWTS suckers.
All right. So, I mean, really, that's kind of all the juice we can pull out of this article from LRM. I mean, this was likely a foregone conclusion before. This isn't really a leak. I mean, this is just something that's been around the mill and speculation and everything like that for a while since the show was announced. And now that Cara is out, they're just positioning it in a way to where instead of saying that Hera is in the show like we've been saying forever, they're just saying that
just remember, when we talk to our sources, we're not fucking around. We've got sources. You just need to start posting the shit.
Yeah, I know Gary Whitta personally.
Told ya.
Yeah, he writer for Rebels, wrote Rogue One. There we go. All right. We have another piece of official casting news, at least as official as it's going to get until
Lucasfilm until it comes out on StarWars.com. But we'll preface this one by saying it didn't come from KRT or LRM. Okay, so this comes from Deadline and then also Variety and a lot of the other actual Hollywood insider pieces and stuff like that. So Game of Thrones veteran Indira Varma has joined the cast of Kenobi. Indira Varma, for those of you who don't know who she is off the top of your head, you probably don't. She played Ilaria Sands in Game of Thrones, which was the mother of the Sand Snakes. And a lover of Oberyn, who we know is actually Din Djarin and all that fun stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she's joining the cast of Kenobi. There's nothing on who she will be playing, as is, with the rest of the show. We really don't know anything about plot lines or characters outside of Hayden is playing Vader / Anakin, and then Ewan is playing Kenobi.
And you would think that it's mostly set on Tatooine in the desert or in one of the cities.
and given, you know, her nationality and Dira's nationality and her look, like she would be perfect for some sort of Tatooine.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, I know, I when I was reading this yesterday, you know, some people were throwing out, well, she doesn't quite look like a Satine, but they could get there with a wig. I mean, she's got the narrow face and little nose.
Mm-hmm.
You throw a blonde wig on there, you could get some Satine action for some flashbacks if need be. But yeah, I think it's going to be a local. It's probably someone that Obi-Wan has to indirectly help because it's going to help his mission of protecting Luke, I would assume.
Yeah, like I tried to see, I was like, could they make her look like Beru? Like, could she play Beru?
No,
but no, it's just not even close. The girl who played Beru at the end of 3 just looks completely different.
Honestly, that girl probably looks closer to what Beru should have looked like at the end of episode 3 by this point in time. I mean, let's be real. Yeah. Anne Beru, that was a rough fucking life living on that moisture farm, because she goes from a young lady in episode 3 to 18 years later, she looks dead.
Yeah, she looks like she's like 70 years old.
Both of the Owen and Beru, him and his wife, they had a very, very rough time raising little Luke and trying to squeeze some moisture out of the sand, because they both aged about 50 years in 18 years.
Yeah, it was insane. So probably not going to be a direct relation to Luke. I mean, you have to figure if, like, Obi-Wan is...
Do you think they'll bring back the Lars actors? I mean, the one guy's like a big deal now. I mean...
Oh yeah, Joel Edgerton is too big.
That was like one of his
back.
first movie roles. I remember when he got that. Yeah, it was like one of his breakouts.
Yeah, there's no way that he comes back
just for that, like a little bit piece
for that. Unless it's like, you know, there are a lot of big actors that want to get into Star Wars. I don't know if he's one of them.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, come on.
He's been in a lot of shit.
At this point in time, you'd have to be like fucking Bill and just be a complete asshole still and be like, hey, fuck Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Even though it's paying for you, he's still in it. He fucking hates Star Wars and he's still in it.
Yeah. And like, I like Joel Edgerton as an actor. He was in that movie Warrior with Tom
Hardy. Good. That's what I mean. He went on
from
playing a bit part in the prequels to a legitimate leading man type of career, both action and drama.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd like to see him back, and you have to imagine that there's going to be some sort of interaction between Obi-Wan and the Larses, because Luke knows who he is. Like, Luke knows who Ben Kenobi is, so you know that he's interacted with him in some way, shape, or form.
On screen, we've seen that Obi-Wan gets within earshot range of the homestead. Yeah, the farmstead.
You can see the kid
literally sees Luke running in as Beru calls him in for dinner. So,
yeah,
and I think Joel and, excuse me for forgetting her name, but I actually think they would look perfect for Owen and Beru at this point in time.
It's
Bonnie. That's right.
Something.
You're right. It's Bonnie.
The reason I know her is because she was recent. I don't know if you watched that. That NXIVM documentary on
HBO. Oh my God, she was one of the girls?
She was, but she got out. So she was one of the first ones to like exit and leave.
There's an interesting dichotomy right there. Joel goes on to have a ridiculous career in Hollywood. She goes on to getting tricked into being in a sex cult. That is fucking crazy. Holy shit.
Yeah,
you ever think about that? Just how or even your own life, like just one choice can just fucking send you down a path that you never dreamed could ever happen for you.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. But I'm trying to find
acted
her
in Star Wars
name.
movie to getting into a fucked up cult. Wow. Jesus, George, what did you do to her? What type of lines did you give that poor girl?
Bonnie Pease.
Yeah, that's it. I did remember when she said Bonnie. I was like, yeah, what's her last name?
Yeah, she's married to the guy who made that movie. What the bleep do we know? Mark Vicente. They were both in that cult together.
Jesus Christ.
But it would be cool to bring those two back. I don't think that they could act on the same level anymore.
Well, it's not. They wouldn't have to do a lot of acting either. I mean, they just gotta be like, Luke, Luke.
Yeah. But if you have a scene where Obi is actually interacting with those two, like, hey, how's the kid doing? Like, you have to, like, you cannot let him go too far from you, because there are people actively looking.
Just drawing on the little bit of dialogue from A New Hope. I mean, Owen was very like Obi-Wan on one of his damn full crusades. Yeah, how would he know about any of that? Because really, Obi-Wan does not meet Owen until the end of Revenge of the Sith. He's not there in Attack of the Clones with Anakin doing that shit or pulling Anakin away. So for some reason, Owen has these thoughts of Obi-Wan of being, a crusader, going out and doing risky shit that could get Luke fucked up. Maybe we'll see, and maybe Indira is a part of that. Like I said, maybe there's something going on with her on Tatooine. Obi-Wan knows he has to deal with it, because if he doesn't deal with it, it's going to fuck up his main mission of protecting Luke.
I think that's probably the most likely thing for her, because if you figure too, like, Obi-Wan's new to Tatooine, like, he's only been there once when he settles down, and like, he needs, like, of course he's a very survivalist, type of person. He can figure out how to live basically anywhere, but like, having contacts, having people that that live in the area is definitely going to help you in your 20-year period of time where you're just
he's got to trust people. I mean, he's not going to try to meet too many people. Yeah. I mean, he does live a very nomadic life, I would assume, a very solitary life once he hits Tatooine. But Nick's right. I mean, I don't believe Kenobi ever thought of going to Tatooine until they had to go there in episode 1. And then he obviously had no reason to come back outside of delivering on his promise to protect one of the Skywalkers.
Here's the baby. Exactly. So, interesting piece of casting news. Like I said, almost perfect for.
Could she be on the bad side? I mean, I also saw some people throwing around Inquisitor stuff. Trilla, or what was her name? Trilla from Fallen Order. There's a kind of that look there. One of the sisters. I mean, I don't know.
Could be. I mean, Tatooine, especially around the Mos Eisley Anchorhead area, is a hive of scum and villainy. So you never know who you're going to run into. Could be a bad person. She would
definitely. I mean, I do believe this actress could play a great bad woman, like a bad girl.
Yeah, spy, some sort of spy for the Empire. Could even be in the employ of the Hutt cartel. I mean, there's a lot of
someone Vader's using. You never know. Yeah, could be a mole that Vader tries to plant. He's feeling out Kenobi's essence somehow. Still, I'm excited for Kenobi. I still think it's going to be too few episodes, and we're not going to get enough for what we crave. But hey, I'm not going to bitch about it. We're getting Hayden.
Give me 45 minute long
at least,
episodes, please.
At least none of this 30-minute shit one week and then 50 the next. Let's try to get some sort of cohesive flow. But back to your first point, based on her looks, I agree. I think she may be someone that he links up with. Locally, not romantically, you pervs. It's Obi-Wan after all. We know that he can keep it in his trousers and Anakin can't, even though they all probably should have let it loose every once in a while, and then they wouldn't have gotten fooled by one Sith Lord.
Indeed.
You got to release, right, so you got to let the poison out, Nick. So you can think
I know,
clearly.
Right? I wonder if that's allowed in Jedi. Like, if personal...
Knowing the Jedi, they're probably like Catholics, so everything's bad. In my mind, when I went to CCD and all the shit they beat into my head, there were times, I remember when I was little, the thought of ever being caught jerking off or having to tell people I jerk off literally put the fear of God into me. Yeah, I felt like I'd go to hell.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I didn't believe I'd grow hair on my palms and that dumb shit, but I did believe that I was committing a sin and I would burn in hell for giving myself a little hand relief.
They do a good job of really. Of course,
I mean, society does it in general. Do you remember? Because and this is weird. It's like one of those moments in life you don't forget. But do you remember the first time you were able to talk to your buddies about jerking off and you weren't worried about being made fun of?
Oh man, it was I do remember. It was weird. It was a weird time. It was like a weird first conversation that you have. Because it's like, eventually you're old enough to where like you're hanging out with just all of your male friends alone, and it's,
everyone's been doing it. But no one at that stage, for me, it was in high school, and I forget what got to it. I was finally like, yo, this fucking jerking off is awesome. Like, I jerk off. I assume you guys jerk off. If you don't jerk off, what's wrong with you? It was kind of one of those deals. But I just remember there's a point in a young man's life where he's just like, why am I so like worried about this? This is one of the greatest things that the universe has given me. The fact that I can take my hand and do some vigorous rubbing, and it's going to make me feel really good.
Oh yeah, Star Wars props. You definitely did walk in at an odd moment here. Get
the poison out, Raven. Get the poison. That's a stern drop. We're literally a creepy guy who invented this thing called the Sibian, Nick, where it's like a vibrating seat that women can get on and pleasure themselves. And there's a porn star in there before Stern stopped doing all that. And the guy was creepy as fuck. He's like, oh yeah, Raven, get the poison out. Get the poison out, Raven. Like essentially saying that once you ejaculate, you're freeing your system of some poison. And for men, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but I definitely do feel like I have a few moments of clarity after I get my own poison out of my system. I definitely feel a little more relaxed and not quite as worked up. But yeah, there you go. There's your jerk off talk for today.
Moments of mental clarity. But yeah, Star Wars props. You did miss the conversation about the new casting of Indira Varma into the Kenobi series.
So props. When did you tell people you jerk off?
Yeah. Tell us
welcome to the conversation.
Yeah. Jump into the Discord. Tell us your story.
I can remember I was 10 years old and I had to tell my family because my father caught me in the bathroom with a shampoo bottle up my ass.
There you go. But I mean, this is really the last piece of actual news, like casting news or Star Wars news that we have for this week before we move into our fan segment and toy talk. So last, just one more time, Indira Varma cast in Kenobi. As far as we know, Kenobi should start filming soon. Last we heard was a March start for filming, and we just hit March yesterday. So we're right in that wheelhouse.
Yeah, and
now,
I saw an image going around of Ewan out there flexing his guns off, and he had a beard, so he's definitely reforming his there body shape.
Yeah, into Kenobi shape. So moving on, we're now into the fan/toy segment of this week. And Matt, you kind of mentioned this one ahead when we were talking about Bad Batch. So why don't you tell us about this?
So last week during the scheduled Star Wars fan celebration event that both Nick and I attended, we just forgot all about 100%. But they also introduced some new toys. So that we got the Bad Batch coming out May the 4th. Yay! We also got the next Bad Batch figure to get the Star Wars The Black Series figure treatment, and it's none other than my favorite, Wrecker. And Nick, I mean, we talked about this when we break down the episodes last season when we got the final season of Clone Wars. I've always been drawn to Wrecker. I like that he really is kind of the Star Wars version of the Hulk. He's full on meathead. You can tell he definitely, a lot of his brawn took from his brains, right? But that's why we love him. I mean, he really is just, he's like he's someone any one of us would want to have on a squad if we were going into war, because you essentially wind them up and point him at bad guys and he wrecks them, literally. That's where his name comes from.
Right.
But the figure itself is quite excellent, I have to say, because he is such a uniquely shaped Star Wars character.
Dude, he almost, like, if you just look at him from like the neck down, he almost looks like a B2 battle droid. Like the shape of that chest piece,
you have that
like all the way down to the legs. It's like that very B2 look.
He looks like a bodybuilder that forgot to work out his legs, right? Where it just the chest, the shoulder area, the arms, they're stacked, right? Because sun's out, guns out type of philosophy in the weight room. But then he kind of left the legs alone. He's not a big fan of hitting the squat rack. But I love his helmet paint. He's got those crazy eyes and face on there. They give him a big ass Crocodile Dundee. That's a knife. He does cost $30, so I don't know if that's because they had to use a little more plastic or if because he has a backpack and a few extra accessories. But I dig this one. So at this point, we've got Wrecker, Hunter, and Crosshair, I believe, have all been revealed and are up for pre-order. I would recommend going through Entertainment Earth. Use us. It'll throw us a few pennies. But they typically tend to keep stuff in stock. This is another figure, Nick, where, Hasbro announced that Fan Celebration will be ready for pre-order tomorrow. As soon as you go to Hasbro's fucking site, sold out.
Really?
I'm done with Hasbro Pulse. I'm not renewing my whatever VIP bullshit membership it is. I can't get behind a company whose own fucking storefront. Mind you, they don't have to ship the stock. They don't have to wait for a third-party retailer to send an order to get figures. They make the damn figures. They're Hasbro. Yet on Hasbro Pulse, any of these new reveals, they're not exclusives, Nick. They're not exclusives. All right? I can get the exclusives maybe going quick. These aren't exclusives. They're standard release, multiple retailers. Yet Hasbro Pulse, these fuckers sell out within 10 to 15 minutes. It makes no sense.
That's insane. Do you get like some sort of extra... Like, is there like some sort of benefit
free
to Pulse
shipping,
over
free shipping if you're in their VIP program, which now costs money. So how free is free?
Oh, so you're paying for shipping.
How free is free? But that's it. Yeah. And price is the same. I mean, sometimes Entertainment Earth will charge $21.99 versus $19.99. But if I can get the fucking figure, big deal. It's a lot better than going to
the $2.
Yeah, it's a lot better than going to eBay and spending double costs. It's mind-boggling. I would think as a toy manufacturer, if I had my own retail outlet, my margins would increase. They have to. Nick. Yeah. I'm not even that smart. I have a business degree. It's common sense. If you don't have to ship something to a third-party reseller, you're going to make more money.
Yeah, and the third-party reseller also takes their chunk of the profit.
Right, like when
so.
Hasbro sells me a figure, they get all my dollars. If I buy it from Entertainment Earth, they might be getting $5 of my dollars because that's what Entertainment Earth had to pay to get the fucking lot.
Yeah, so it is a good looking figure, and it doesn't make any sense that it's not available from the makers themselves. But like Matt said, it is up on Entertainment Earth right now for pre-order.
He's still
Click
there.
On our link in the site. Pre-order, add to cart. There you go. Same price, $29.99. Coming October 2021.
Oh, and look, for all you people that are worried, you can even still get Cara Dune figures.
There you go. So you can get Kara figures on Entertainment
Actually,
Earth
why
too,
have this page pulled up?
It.
Everyone that needs figures, start buying them because I need some Entertainment Earth affiliate credit.
You need some credit. Needs the credit.
Buy some of these. There. Buy this helmet. This helmet was revealed last week. Buy that. There you go. There's Hunter. Buy him. There's Boba Fett, the deluxe. Buy that. There's another helmet.
Ooh, the Darksaber Force Effects. Buy that. That's a lot. We'll get a lot of credit on that.
Did I tell you I ended up doing it, Nick? I ended up pre-ordering the Darksaber. Yeah.
There you go. Hey, man, that's a good.
I agree.
Piece,
I agree.
Honestly.
I know you're the lightsaber guy, the hilt collector, until Amazon fucks you up the butt, and then you quit that too. But there's something about this Darksaber that stood out to me, and it was a weak Friday night. I might have had a few IPAs, so the willpower walls were torn down, and I hit go. But at least now I consult with my daughter on purchases like this. She is the coin flip now, so I know the answer is always going to be yes. So I'd be like, hey Charlie, should I get this $250 Darksaber? Yeah, I'm like, you're right. I agree. You made a good a good point. I accept the case you put forward. I will pre-order it. Thank you.
Yeah. Like, what's $250, Daddy? Yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
You buy that, Daddy. Can I play with it?
Yeah,
no.
We're just now I'm now trying to relate to her that what money is and what it means and why we work and all that shit, and how at some point in time she's not just going to be able to say, "Daddy," snap her fingers, and I vomit out whatever product she wants because I just don't want to say no to my little girl. So it'll happen.
If 15 years down the line, you have to start buying shit on your own.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's a good looking figure, and especially, I mean, perfect timing for the release of the Bad Batch
we need
series.
to get Tech and Echo at this point. They're the holdouts, so I'm assuming they're saving those for other days that Nick and I don't know about.
There's a Crosshair figure already.
Yeah, Hunter, Crosshair, and Wrecker are the three that have been teased.
Nice. You would figure that they would save the Hunter one for like closer to the release date because he's like he's the lead.
Hasbro, as much as I appreciate some of their collectibles, the way they run their business is just it boggles the mind. I don't know. I just don't know. Or giving exclusives to like fucking Walmart.
Yeah. Like here's Walgreens exclusive.
Yeah, that's another one. They do that too. Walgreens exclusive Star Wars figures. I'm not kidding. They do that shit. So Hasbro, we love you, but sometimes your business decisions are just curious, as Obi-Wan Kenobi would say.
Yeah, curious.
Actually, you have to say curious twice within the same scene, or it would not be Kenobi correct.
Yeah, it doesn't.
There's those two scenes in Clones. They're just like, George, what the fuck? It's the curious, where it's Obi-Wan talking to Jango on Camino, and then the I wish I could wish it all away bullshit between Anakin and Padme. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
One of the best.
I wish I could wish it all away.
Ever.
Anakin, I truly, madly, deeply love you. I'd be like, Padme, you're creepy as fuck. Get the hell away from me.
We don't need to be married anymore.
Exactly. Like, yeah, Anakin's like, what the fuck? It's like I wanted a little action. I'm not talking about this truly, madly, deeply shit. Sounds like a song from the 90s. All right, man. Let's get into that fan segment. Fan
segment of the week. Yes, this week's fan question, which we'll kick off with from Matt, was what other classic Star Wars games need to be ported to newer consoles? So sticking with the port stuff coming off the Republic Commando.
Speaking of port stuff, I got to go make a port of call with some urine. So go ahead and take this first one. You got 2 replies. Hopefully that'll be long enough to let me drain out, but go.
I will. All right. So first up, we got a response from Star Wars Black Series Clips on IG. He says Jedi Power Battles. It was buggy as hell, but that was a fun co-op game way back in the day. I'm sure it hasn't aged well. And a response from Sir Dork 730, one of our faves, one of the original goats. He says Jedi Power Battles would be great. Fun co-op with more Jedi from all eras. I like it. So good response there. I've never played Power Battles, but I think I remember Matt talking about it a bit. And I know for sure this next response here from Scarlet Kid 1 was a Matt special. He says another one I love was Star Wars Master.
Real quick before we get to the next one, because you are right. It is one of my favorites. But I'm with you on Power Battles, dude. How the fuck did we miss this game? I mean,
Co-op,
I think is it late 90s, early 2000s? I'm trying to figure out if it was during.
It was an episode 1 game, so it was 2000.
All right, exactly. So yeah, I'd be a year or two in the college, and I guess that I kind of chalk up 99 to 2003. Those are like my lost years.
So this is the game. This is PS1. This is the game where Plo had his orange.
I know, because this game got a lot of traction when the Poe figure came out last spring. I did a Poe with an orange or a yellow lightsaber. People are like, oh, Power Battles. I'm like, okay. And again, Jared, a huge Power Battle homie. But I don't even know what the type of. I mean, just like go in and whack each other around. Is it a fighting game or?
It looks like it's a. It almost does look like it's a 3D take on like Double Dragon, like from original Nintendo, where you had like 2-player side scroll and it was just like a beat 'em up.
Yeah, okay.
Except you're 2 players and you're playing in a 3D environment. It's like you have like your select your Jedi thing, and you see like Qui-Gon, Obi, all the other, Mace in there as well. Like you have a bunch of different Jedi. Does it open up
where big guy comes and punches a girl in the stomach and then throws her over his shoulder and walks away?
It could,
that's how Double Dragon started. He walks out, he goes, punches a girl right in the gut, so she falls over, and then he throws her over his shoulder and walks away.
It immediately sets out what your mission is in a very
you got to go get that woman abuser. I mean that's what it is.
Yeah, it's like,
it's like, dude, you're huge. Okay. You really had to punch her. You had to sucker punch her gut. Like, come on, man.
You couldn't just grab her and run away. It's kind of fucked up.
You gotta love the 80s.
Yeah, so Matt, you read the next one, because this is your 100%, all-time.
Scarlet Kid actually had 2 in there that I was going to go with, but this was the second one, because his first one was Dark Forces, which is another one I do not think has been ported. But Scarlet Kid 1 went with a game we've talked about here that not many people have played, but it's a classic, and I would totally buy it if it got ported. And he says, another one I loved was Star Wars Masters of the Teras Kasi, or however the fuck you say it. Teras Kasai. Basically the fighting the fighting philosophy that Kira subscribes to in Solo.
Yes.
But it was on PlayStation 1, it was essentially a Street Fighter, or more of a virtual fighter, but with Star Wars characters. You had Sand People, you had Boba Fett, Han Solo, Darth Vader, Luke. Everyone had special abilities, like the semicircle turn punch would shoot a projectile out. I don't know. It was a game in college where we'd sit around on a Friday or Saturday, have some shitty beers, and essentially mimic what Nick and I were talking about. Winner stays, loser gives up their spot. In this case, it's not a controller on the cabinet. It's the actual, not a quarter on the cabinet. It's an actual controller that you pass around. So I'm with you, Scarlet Kid. I fucking loved this Star Wars Street Fighter.
I knew that Matt would love that one. You know what's weird to me, dude, is like a lot of Star Wars is a huge license, but in these video game arenas, they've tried a lot of different types of games, and they tried a racing game, didn't really stick. I love that.
That's another one, Super Bombad Racing, which was a Mario Kart clone, but with Star Wars. Even with the comical looking big heads and the ships, you'd run over powers to knock people. I fucking love Bombad Racing.
I just don't understand why it doesn't stick. Like this one, Star Wars fighting game. There's so many people. You would figure that a Star Wars fighting game would stick, and you could make multiple iterations of it, but it just never stuck around. None of them did.
I mean, even a lot of the turn of the century Star Wars games just died out. They're either based on the prequels or oddballs like a Power Battles or the Super Bombad Racing or Masters of Teras Kasi. So good pick there, Scarlet Kid. We agree.
So, all right, next up we have Reed 5 Designs. He says Star Wars Rebel Assault 2.
Holy shit, that's the first time I realized that that's Reed 5 Designs and not Red 5 Designs. So.
Red 5. Yeah, I mean, it could be Red. I just read it as Reed. Rebel Assault 2 is a game that I have not played. This was when I was a small child. This was a 95, so I was 7. It came out for Microsoft. Yeah, it was a Microsoft game, and apparently there was a PS1 version eventually. But
Red 5, I could be off because I can't remember if I was playing Rebel Assault or Rebel Assault 2, but spot on. I mean, Nick, this was a game. It was a CD game back in the mid 90s that you could throw in the Windows 3.1, and it would have cutscenes that were all pixelized and shit. And I mean, the graphics, they were trying to kind of make it look like it was movie based, but it wasn't. But there was some about it, because if we're speaking about the right game, it did have a pretty good mix or a balance of ship mission combat and then ground mission combat. So, for example, I'm pretty sure it had the Battle of Hoth, as most flying Star Wars games have. But then after that, you'd actually go run through the corridors of Echo Base and shoot at shit.
Because I'm looking at some screenshots. I see some flying the Falcon missions. I see some, like you mentioned, in the hallways of some sort of Imperial emplacement. You're running around your pilot suit shooting people. yeah, it's one of those like this. See, this is games that I would like to see, like more modern remakes of, is like these older, like PC
the
games,
really like
these Nintendo,
from the 90s where shit was really archaic looking, like full on squares,
really janked up.
I mean, it looks like Minecraft basically.
Yeah, basically the graphic style that you're seeing is very Minecrafty, and it looks like it could be an interesting game. But it's just like, to me, like when I was 7, I hadn't even seen Star Wars for the first time yet. So this wasn't even on my radar. And like, it doesn't seem like it was popular enough to like pop up in pop culture, like after I'd seen it when I was 10. Cause like I knew about like the NES games and stuff like that, SNES games. Like this one was just like a total.
Like, yeah, I'm on Amazon right now looking at it, the old PlayStation version of it. It's bringing up all the PlayStation Star Wars games. You got Dark Forces, the Phantom Menace. I remember playing that one. There's Power Battles. Definitely missed that one somehow. Any Terras Kasi? Nope. I'm telling you, that one was like only specific people liked the Masters game like me. Everyone kind of universally thought that was a piece of shit.
Hey, so not everything.
Yeah, I mean, Rebel Assault it was unique. I mean, again, it was in that period of games where games were transitioning from the 2D full on just pixel art to more polygon shaped 3D characters. But it's so far removed from what we see today. I mean, I am glad that I grew up during the genesis of gaming for the most part. I mean, if you're born in the 70s or 80s, you were a kid growing up with this shit becoming a form of entertainment in the home in particular. But man, exactly. You are right. Some of the games from the 90s, they should be re-released. They don't need to be enhanced, but port them for modern consoles and let's see how fucking goofy they really were.
Dude, it would be hilarious to see some of that shit. So, good response there by Reed 5 Designs or Red 5. I don't know, READ 5 Designs. And then next up, Figure Hurts here coming in with the
I had to put this in there.
Facts here. Yeah, so he says Harmonix could do a rock band, the Figrin D years, the Figrin Dan years. So good stuff there. Complete with their instruments. Or a Dance Twerk It Twi'lek remake, which was dope on the NES.
There actually was. I mean, wasn't when I think it was on the 360 when Microsoft was peddling the Kinect.
They had a Star Wars.
There was a Star Wars motion type of game where Boba Fett was dancing. I think Han Solo was dancing. But you almost had to dance to get through missions, to like actually progress. Yeah.
So it was just the Kinect Star Wars game, and one of the things that you could do on it was the dancing missions, like the galactic dance off.
See, it was called. So yeah, you were close. Figure Hurts, you're close. They almost had something like that, but I liked Rock Band, the Figure in D years. Honestly, dude,
I will say that I like. Taylor and I have been like we've talked about it a couple times. It's like I wish I could find, or I wish there was like a Rock Band or Guitar Hero that came out for like PS4 or
I
Xbox
think
360.
There was
One.
I think it might be a Guitar Hero, but I know there is a somewhat modern one. But dude, and this kind of circles all the way back to our bullshit segment. Because I keep all my consoles, guess who still has access to all this shit?
Oh yeah,
and we have one permanently hooked up upstairs in the family room just in case we ever want to do it. But it's got Rock Band 1 and 2, all the Guitar Heroes. I still have the drum kit, multiple guitars, the mic. But you are right. Yeah. If you want the classic era of those rhythm games, you pretty much have to still have the old hardware.
Yeah, you got to have PS2, PS3, Xbox 360. Yep. Like those types of games just don't exist.
There was, now. I mean, it was what was it like?
They were fucking.
It was awesome.
Fun.
It was like 3 or 5 years in the mid 2000s. In particular, when I think it was Guitar Hero 2 actually came out for the 360, where Guitar Hero was just PlayStation, I believe. And once they spread platforms, I mean, I know me, I went nuts. I mean,
we would play
hours.
Yeah, every week, like. when like me and my friends would get together at one of my friends' apartments, and we would just sit there and play Guitar Hero
and think you were good, thinking you could actually like maybe play a real guitar after beating a song on hard or going the expert. You'd be like, I can fucking do this. Look at this shit. Blah, 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 blah. It's just hitting colored notes, and then you pick up a real guitar, and you're like, oh Christ!
And you're like, what the fuck? What are all these strings here for? Where's the button?
Does not compute. Dude, I used to like when that came out. That's when I was working in the corporate world. I was in Detroit. I used to drive 4 hours a weekend to have rock band hangouts with friends that were still living in Columbus. I mean, that's how engaged all of us were with this genre for about a year or two.
Yeah, man, yeah. It was fun times. I wish I could find one I think there may be one for Xbox One. I'd have to go look, but I can't remember. So, all right. Last response for this week's question of the week is Collect Neck, and he says Shadows of the Empire. Shadows of the Empire is like, I know it's another just hugely popular game from the from the mid 90s, and it's got like an iconic character that people always want to see back in Star Wars, and it's Dash Rendar. Shadows of the Empire came out originally on PlayStation
and N64,
on Nintendo.
Man. That was an N64 title.
N64 and Microsoft Windows. So it was a PC and N64 game. And this is one of those games that like has persisted through culture, and like people want to see made into new content because of the story that was told in the character of Dash Rendar. But this is another one, like, again, like I never played this because
me neither, and I'm kind of hating it. And I know why I didn't play, because I didn't get an N64. I was one of those tough guys once the Genesis came out.
Sega.
Yeah, and they went with that hardcore aggro marketing. I bought fully into it. I mean, let's be real. If it weren't for my early 20s and some things that I got into or experienced, I'd probably be wearing a MAGA hat right now. I mean, my dad listened to Rush Limbaugh my entire life when I was little. I mean, I was programmed to be a moron. Luckily, I broke free of a lot of that conditioning. But yeah, I never owned an SNES or an N64, and to this day, it kind of pains me a little bit. Because those were two fantastic consoles with some fucking killer games on it that I just, as a little kid, you don't have the income like we do now, so I was kind of fucked either way. Yeah. I had to pick a brand and stick with it, because it's not like little Matt could go out and make money and blow it on consoles or games. And I went Sega and then right into PlayStation, so...
Yeah,
but no, this game, I've got it pulled up, Nick, on one of the Wikipedias. I definitely think I'd want to check it out. You got the Zyzer, the Dash stuff. It looks like there's a whole section on In Search of Boba Fett. So I bet that could be interesting.
This game, does this take place like in the Empire timeline?
Or is this the game is set between the time of Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, man, this is one I know that people speak about it very, very nostalgically. This is one of people's favorite games from back in that era. I think I may have this on.
I bet both of us fucking have this, dude. I bet we both have this in our Steam list. How much you want to bet?
Yeah. Oh, almost positive. I'm almost positive. I don't have my.
I'm
Steam
sitting here
now,
like, woe is me. Like, I wish I could have played this, and I guarantee my dumbass has probably owned it for 8 years.
Dude, you need to. Do you have a Steam link? Like, you need to get a Steam link, because that is basically what allows you to cast your Steam, like to connect a controller to the link and then cast it onto your big TV. And like that'll allow you to actually go through some of your Steam library and play these games. I
might look into it. I'll tell you what, dude. I don't even know. I don't even know if I have the Steam client installed anymore. That's how far out I've gone with PC gaming.
But
yeah, you're not wrong. If you can figure out if this game's on there, I might start thinking about that after I play Outriders. But
look at this! It's not. It's free. All it is now is Steam Link. Extend your Steam gaming to your phone, tablet, or TV.
With an app, probably,
iOS
right?
and Apple. With an app, yeah. iOS and Apple TV now available.
Yeah, well.
And you can use controllers through it. Install the app, pair your controller, connect it to your computer, and then bang, You're ready to go.
I never said that I was intelligent, so. All right, so Shadows of the Empire definitely looks interesting. I'm not going to lie. I mean, this is a game that like we've discussed, have just kind of never experienced. Therefore, it never really existed in my Star Wars, in my personal Star Wars sphere. But it is something that I think I'd like to check out. So who knows? Who knows?
I mean, the ports for me already happened. Like the Knight series of games is really, for me, those were the first ones that kind of got me interested in Star Wars gaming, was the Jedi Knight series.
Yeah, if I had to make my own pick, I was going with Masters of the Teräs-Käsi. So
yeah, I figured that was going to be up
that's
there
where I was going.
But I really would like to see one of those old side scrollers make it get ported,
Super Star Wars, all the SNES ones. Hell yeah.
Yeah, like the SNES ones.
Games are so fucking hard too. I mean, any game back then. Like you people wonder why I'm so tweaked and on edge. It's because I grew up playing games that made you want to fucking kill people. Remember, there's no fucking saves for the most part. There's no checkpoints. Fuck, I mean, dude, you'd spend all day on a game and get past a level you've never gotten past, and then realize that, oh shit, it gets even harder, and then you die, and you go, no!
All the way back to the beginning.
Not kidding. No, I think I've talked about this before. I don't know if I was 8, but I was no more than 10. Already throwing body parts through drywall over fucking Nintendo games at that age. After I had attacked the TV with my spinning lasso of death controller move.
We've all been there.
At 8 though, at 6 to 8 years old. I mean, Nick, my mom used to be like, Matthew, stop it or I'm taking it away. And I'd be like, all right, I'll chill out. And then sure as shit, the one game to this day that I'll never forget it. It's why I not only did I put my elbow through the wall, I then spray painted my wall. Like, this is the type of fucking shithead kid I was. And I thought I was a good kid. But Batman 1989, I challenge anyone to play it and not want to either hurt yourself or hurt someone else. Or an inanimate object. That game was so fucking hard and frustrating. But it was. I like finally got past this bullshit part to a new part of the level. And sure as shit, I almost die right away on some dumb jump or some bullshit. So instantly, little angry Matt, elbow through the wall, spit on the TV, and then I had like this bullshit spray paint. It wasn't like real spray paint, but it was, I don't know, I had it in my room for something. And then just started going all over the wall where I just fucking put a hole into the wall. She comes in, says nothing, and just fucking rips the TV right out of my room with the Nintendo dragging behind it. That was what that finally did it. My mom could deal with me spitting at the TV, biting myself, punching myself, screaming, and biting the controller. But once I started damaging the house, she was like, okay, this kid needs a fucking timeout.
The only time I ever punched a hole in a wall with a game, I was playing Tekken on original PlayStation, and I don't even remember who I was fighting, because like you could basically play that game to where you like fight up. It's like a ladder, and you fight up, and then eventually you got to the end of the game and you fought like Angel and Demon or something like that at the end. And I was on one of the fights and I had died like 14, 15 times, and I just went boom, just like fist right through the wall, and I was like, fuck, man. Because like at that time I was like, I knew I fucked up, so I took a picture and I just put a thumbtack in it right over the hole.
Oh, look at
you. And for the longest time, my parents just never paid attention to it. They were like, what? I don't know. He's just a weird fucking kid. And then eventually they were painting the whole house, and they get to my room and they take it off. They're like, how did this hole get in the wall?
I don't know. It must have been a fucking rat or something.
Yeah, it's like, I can't. What hole? And they...
I was just a scum. I mean, my parents, they did the wrong thing. I really was a pretty good kid. I think the worst thing I did at school was first grade. I had the same mouth I have now. So I was always getting threatened to be paddled because I'd be on the playground like, hey, look, I'll say ship, shit, you know, like holding your tongue, doing that stupid shit. Be like, I didn't say it, I said ship, or I was saying apple, not asshole. But you know, I got told on because I was like yelling white weenie or something stupid. But in my room, I was a complete degenerate because they built an addition and they were going to stay in that room because it was new, right? And they realized, like, fuck, this room's too small. We'll make it sound like it's good to be the only person in this part of the house, and we'll give it to the oldest kid. So I got it, which was fine. And I was a pussy too. I was scared of the dark until like 4th grade. But I essentially was in addition to myself. Sister and parents were upstairs. So in this room, I turned it into a dorm room. It was brand new. Again, it was an addition. I was, like Nick said, I was sticking tacks in the wall to hang up pictures. I was putting fucking baseball card hologram stickers all over it. I had a dartboard in my room, and there was probably more dart holes in the drywall than the dartboard. So I was just a little scumbag, but I see Kung Fu is in there. He is another brother of rage. Like that's why he and I get along. And it's a surprise we haven't killed each other at some point in times when we're together, because we both have issues with anger over relatively dumb stuff like video games and whatnot. But he's someone to this day, I believe, still exercises his right to beat the shit out of his house. Either playing video games or watching the Buckeyes. I know he still every once in a while might headbutt a wall or put a fist through a wall. But it does. It starts with video games. It really does. I mean, that's where I got it.
It does, yeah. There's nothing more rage-inducing than that, dude. Because think about it. Like when you're a kid and you're playing t-ball or baseball when you're a kid, like you're out in the open. You're in a field and like there's people around you, so like you can't express your anger and frustration in a way that you would if you were just locked in a room by yourself. So like that was literally the first rage-inducing hobby that you could pick up as a child. Because you had no attachment to like football or sports teams at that age that would make you that angry. But it games, was just like these little sprites on fucking TV are not doing what I want them to do.
And I've gotten way better over the years, but it plagued me pretty bad up through the 360 generation, and that was the one that kind of, I don't know if it was just getting older or whatnot, but after, no joke, spending $350 on Xbox 360 controllers, I was like, okay, dude, I mean, either just resort to hitting yourself or get a punching bag or something, because this is just, it's not economical to keep taking your controllers. And my favorite was I'd grab both of the wings, like the bottom, and then I would do like a chest press, almost like a pec fly, and I would separate the plastic just through sheer force of my own strength. And then once I got it cracked, that's when I'd start throwing it around like it was a fucking shot put. Like,
I had PlayStation controllers, so like you could get a better, and I would twist them in opposite directions. I would go like that.
It's like, and I'd be like, I'm showing you, controller. It's your fucking fault that I died. It has nothing to do with my skills or my fast twitch reflexes. It's your fucking fault. And I'd be like, yeah, it's like you're inflicting pain on this inanimate object. Like it feels the destruction you're enacting upon it. But hey.
We are.
It made me feel great while I was doing it, but in anyone that's broken something out of anger, you know this feeling. As you're going through the anger, there's a part of you in the back of your mind going like, dude. You know, if you take it one step further, you're going to probably regret it, even though right now it's making you feel really fucking good to get angry and break shit. But as soon as that thing breaks and you release the anger, that's when you go like, oh, man.
I have to replace this. Now I can't even fucking play my game anymore.
The regret kicks in, the embarrassment. You feel like a fucking lunatic. You're like, really? I mean, I broke a goddamn TV over video games in front of my wife. We're playing Mario, and I didn't like the way fucking Mario was jumping and landing. So I took a water bottle, smashed it on my table. It hit at the right angle that the bottle exploded, went all over the TV, drained down into the panel. See you, TV. Just like that. And that was another one. As soon as the bottle hit and exploded, I went, oh fuck. Because I knew exactly. I was like, I just ruined a 55-inch flat screen TV.
Yeah, and that was it.
I was in my 30s at that point. Like it was like
Luckily, I never did that to a TV. The one time I broke a TV, I actually recounted that story on the show. It was like we were getting ready to move, and like I was just laying on the couch, and I was throwing the dog a ball that she had, and like I picked it up with my left hand and I just kind of like tossed it, and it hit my TV. And it's literally a hollow piece of plastic. But like these flat screen TVs now, their screens are so delicate. Like I literally just went like that, and it hit the TV, and I didn't even think anything of it. And I turned it on, and it's just a big ass fucking crack in the corner. I was like, you have to be fucking kidding me.
It's the worst feeling.
It was just like,
I've done this. I mean, even hurting myself. I mean, last year when I broke my hand by fighting my house, it's the same thing. Like in my head, when I'm fucking beating up a tree stump that weighs, probably 200 pounds. In my head, I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, you like this shit? You like this shit, bitch? You like making me having to move you and get angry? Look, I'm beating you, like I'm punching you, like that does something. And then when it rolled into my leg, I was like, okay, well, you win that fight, but I'm gonna fucking punch the house. And I go, plah! And as soon as I hit the house, I went, oh, fuck. It's the same feeling, but in this case, it was accompanied by actual physical pain, and I could see. Yeah. I mean, you can see it now. I have no knuckle left on my right pinky. There's just no knuckle. It's gone because I fucking punched it out. But that was another moment where the rage, it feels so good in the moment, but the calm that kicks in instantly once you blow your stack. It's one of the worst feelings of regret a human can experience. Pure
regret. All right, so that was a fun tangent for those of you who have been. Yeah,
if you didn't think we were going to make 3-hour shows, look at that. We just ensured we're going to have a 3-hour show.
We're getting there. So that's the end of our fan question segment of this week. We're going to move into our top 5 Star Wars fan art features of the week. And this week is a Matt shit on himself week, so we have a nice little photo at the end for Matt to break down for us.
He's not saying literally. I'm not going to stand up and take a dump in my pants. Okay.
No.
But no, if you want me to, if it's going to generate more views and a bigger audience, I will definitely.
If that's TikTok,
I will definitely consider it.
Yeah,
I will definitely consider it.
Yeah. But first up this week on top 5, we have our returning favorite. I know that he was in the chat at one point. He may be gone now. This is at Everything Kylo, bringing it back with a beautiful clone shot here. This is Bly. Is this Bly? Yep. Is this clone Commander Bly here on the battlefield? Guns akimbo, looking down at his fallen prey. And as always with Jesse, like he just captures that visceral nature of combat. Like him and Papa really make combat shots look fucking badass. And you can see like a downed clone in the back where like Bly didn't even probably shoot this guy. He probably like ripped the cord out of his neck.
It's like he's just shut down. He's not even shot down. He is shut down. But this is a shot. If you're in the community or if you've been on the show or watched the show, the top 5, you look at and you instantly know this is Everything Kylo. The guy has such a defined vision. His shots always just have a raw grittiness to them. They're usually action-oriented, battle-oriented, and definitely clone-oriented. I mean, it is. I mean, look, he doesn't fuck around. I mean, he weathers these things up very nicely. He even put etches into the plastic and washes over them with, I don't know, shoe polish or something. But he always knows how to pose these motherfuckers, and he always knows how to take them up a notch with some form of practical effect. In this case, it looks like he probably broke out the old mouth straw and dirt maneuver. But you never know with Jesse. But I guarantee you, it's not digital. It's all in camera. He's kind of like me, doesn't want to fuck with the post processing. You get what you get when you shoot it, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean it's a beautiful shot. And on Bly, I imagine he added in like those hash marks on his thigh pad. Okay, that's fucking sick, man. Like. The weathering job. Yeah, no, I mean
I do half-ass weathering where I'll grab some shoe polish and wipe it all over him, then try to wipe it off just to taint the armor a bit. Jesse and a few others, they'll actually get there with their X-Acto knives and make etches in the plastic to pick up the ink much more predominantly, and it looks great. It really does.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. So at everything Kylo.
You happy, Jesse? You're bitching and moaning last week. You're like, oh, I never get picked anymore. There you go.
You made
I
it.
even knew how to do it to get Nick to pick it too. I released it on a Monday because Nick's always good for at least grabbing a Monday shot to feature.
One Monday shot.
There you go.
No, yeah, it popped up right in my face. I was like, okay, yeah, this. And I saw it as soon as I saw it. I was like, all right.
Rumor has it everything is going to be coming on the show.
I think
rumor has Spencer's been working on them, but I think we're going to get them. We're going to get them on the show. I think in April maybe.
Nice. Good. I mean, it's about time because he's supposed to be on the show last year. So, all right. Next up, we have a fantastic shot from at Star Wars Plastic. And I think this is Star Wars Plastic's first time in the top 5. But this is a very, very clean, crisp, realistic looking shot of Kuiil from The Mandalorian. And he's in his workshop just tinkering. And what I like about it is like, this feels like something that like Kuiil just does or did on like a regular basis, just in his workshop tinkering.
You know what, Nick? That's what I like about it the most. I mean, a lot of us sometimes will want to recreate scenes or badass scenes we've seen from Star Wars. Other times, stuff's just made up. I mean, I'm kind of the made up guy, and even my made up stuff doesn't technically make a lot of sense, in my opinion. But what at Star Wars Plastic did here is exactly what you said. I mean, it's like a day in the life of Kuiil. We knew he was a big tinkerer. I mean, all the shit he built for Mando, he fixed the Razor Crest after those damn dirty Jawas completely tore it down. He completely rebuilt IG-11. I mean, he's a nugnot. They're good at tech. Yeah. They're good at maintenance. They're just good at fixing shit, building stuff. And it's just, I love the practicality of the setup. Everything in the foreground is practical. I think the structure's practical. I'd even wager some of the stuff behind him is practical because I think that's just crinkled up brown paper to mimic sand or mountains. Sand. It's just lots of little photography tricks in there for practical photographers to appreciate. And there's a few other, like I feel like Star Wars Plastic kind of had a theme for his or her shoots over the past month or so. A lot of Kuiil out just kind of scavenging, building up some sleds of parts. But there's a lot of great practical dioramas, I guess you would say, that Star Wars Plastic goes with. But this one here, it's Kuiil. It really does. It just looks like, hey, a candid shot. Someone was in there. Maybe it was Din taking a break. Just like, hey, hey, Grogu, let's get a shot of our buddy. And he just takes a shot of Kuiil while he's working. And and that's what it looks like. And that's why I mean, we were talking last week when we were breaking down Sion's shot, where sometimes if you're going to do a portrait shot, you don't necessarily want your subject looking right at you to make it look like a stage, school portrait, like cheese, look at the camera. You want them to be more candid in nature, and that's exactly what Star Wars Plastic achieved here.
Yeah, perfect job. So at Star Wars Plastic on Instagram, go give him a follow. All right, next up, this one here is just something special. This is from at Funko.Zord on Instagram. And what we see is Din and Grogu there opening up the ice cream maker. So this is clearly from season 1. Once they steal what was it called again? I can't fucking remember.
Camptono or something like that.
Yeah, Camptono. That is exactly it. Wow, good memory. So they open up the Camptono, and where would be Beskar, we now see some sweet ass Nike Air Jordans. Yeah,
are those Jordan 1s? I mean, I love Jordan. I appreciate the whole collecting scene behind Jordans. I've just never done it because, when Jordans first came out and I was little, when you're a kid, you don't have the cash flow. Trust me, I wanted Jordans. I wanted the fucking Reebok pumps. I wanted the Nike CO2 shoes. But hey, you get what you get.
Those are the Jordan 1s, so you got a good eye.
It's just fucking. I love this. I mean, it's like Din's pose, and these are the hot toys, so they're the Barbie quality, the museum quality of full Beskar, Mando, and Grogu. But Din's just kind of leaning back, like damn, like shit, we just fucking got a blind box and we pulled the top prize. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hit the jackpot. And like,
yeah,
even Grogu's looking like, oh.
Grogu's like, ooh. He's like, okay, now give me a fucking cookie.
I could see Mando running around in some Jordan 1s.
I don't know. I like the mashup. I like the pose because it was a kind of a reactionary pose. It's just fun. Yeah. I mean, now I wouldn't want to see Mando wearing Jordans in The Mandalorian. Like, I'm not into those types of crossovers.
Yeah,
but when it comes to Star Wars art that we like to feature on the Star Wars Time Show, I'm all about crossovers, mashups, trying some goofy ideas. And this is one from Funkazor that it hit for me. I love it. I mean, it really is Mando. You know, he did a card break or something and got a box that had the coveted pair of shoes in it. And both he and his ward are just like, shit, we did it. Look at that pull, motherfucker. Yeah. It's like they're on eBay right now streaming it. Like, we got the ones. We got the motherfucking MJ ones.
Oh, man. Good stuff. So at Funko Zord on Instagram.
I just want to know why everyone else is getting their 1/6 scale full Beskar Mando and Grogu deluxe pack and I'm not. Like, what the fuck? Sideshow, you still owe me IG-11, the heavy, and this set. Let's go.
There we go. Get it to him. All right. Next up, we have Coleccionista de Plástico. So this is basically plastic collector in Spanish. Look at
this guy. Shot He's here, a fucking scholar.
I took many years of Spanish in high school.
Can you speak it at all, like, or no?
Not anymore. When I graduated,
are you I can speak Spanish? Yo quiero Taco Bell type of guy, or?
So, when I finished high school, I could hold a conversation in Spanish I don't want to say easily, but I could talk to people in Spanish and I could get the gist of like the conversation. I could hold a conversation for a while. Now, I mean, it's been 15 years. Yeah. So like I retain like some, and occasionally I can look at things and like figure out what they say. But at this point, it's basically all gone.
Shit's too hard. Like, we really are some of the dumbest humans on earth in America.
Yeah, especially Americans. Like, you know, you have people who live in like Spain and France and Germany and who can speak 3-4 languages.
like no problem.
And like, yeah, and they could, I don't want to say seamlessly, because even by their own measure, like it is difficult to switch between languages in the same conversation, but they can talk to you in English and then turn around and talk to their mom in German,
right?
And then
translate it and figure it all out. Where me, it's I pull from a commercial. Yo quiero Taco Bell. I know one time I was a smart ass, probably drunk. I ordered my Chipotle order in broken Spanglish and thought I was cool. It's like, yo quiero uno burrito con pollo y arroz. It's just like, shut the fuck up, white guy.
Yeah, they're like, get the fuck
fucking asshole.
They're like, if I wasn't making this in front of you, I would
exactly.
But anyway, what Coleccionista de Plástico has here is a fantastic kind of.
It's a what if. It's a what if scene, is what I called it.
Yeah, it's a what if shot. Perfect. Yeah. So we see Jedi Leia here in the front, whipping the robe, and the Skywalker family blade kind of lit across her front. You see Jedi Master Luke off to the back right. With the green boy with his ROTJ saber. Then you also have old man Han on the back left, and then Chewie in the background there, all holding their weapons. And it really is just an awesome ensemble shot of all of our favorites, all of the original trilogy OGs,
the big four,
with their sequel trilogy, their looks and the sequel trilogy figures.
It's essentially the reason I called a what if shot, not what it shot, as it's typed up in the Instagram caption, because whoever did that's an idiot. But a what if shot, especially when we're talking about the older versions of Leia, Luke, Han, and Chewie. What we're seeing here from Coleccionista de Plástico is what I believe many people had in their mind when the sequel trilogy was announced. At one point in time, they wanted to see these four together doing something impressive.
Being heroes again.
And it is. Nick's right. I mean, these are the 1/6 scale version of the sequel trilogy version. So it is old Han. It is old Leia. It looks like you just threw on a Jedi robe on her. That's the crate Luke. I've got that guy actually. He's not the.
You got pieces.
Well, no, this is Hot Toys. So this is the Barbie. This is the well made, and I'm not going to go nuts. It's the little fucking figure art shitheads that cause me lots of unneeded stress. But I love it. I mean, that's why it stood out. I mean, I'm not someone that sits here and will tell you that my life has been greatly impacted by the way the sequel trilogy played out. We've said it a million times. It's boring at this point in time. On their own, each film, they're decent movies. As a cohesive unit, they're not a good trilogy. There's no real true arcing story told. There's too many hemming and hawings and half-baked ideas. But like I said, I really think when this was announced, a lot of us envisioned, at least in passing, Han, Luke, Leia, and Chewie would be in a scene together, and it never happened. Yeah.
So if you go over to Collectionista's page, I mean, it's only 493 followers, but he is definitely a 1/6 scale shooter. Even in his hashtags, you can see that his name is Victor Garcia. That's on his page. 1/6 scale Hot Toys, and all of his shots. I mean, yes, Hot Toys they look good already, but like his shots are very well executed. I mean, mostly portrait style shots, but still like captures the visage of the characters very well.
Like I said, I mean, I can probably show you a lot of shots of Hot Toys that make them look like toys. So. The portrait stuff, there is I'm not going to say the skill is as great as those of you that make really dynamically posed scenes, but there is something to portrait. Like I said before, lighting is more than half the battle in my mind when it comes to a portrait, but also the camera angle, the perspective you're going. So yeah, I mean, Collectionista de Plastico definitely excels at the Hot Toys portraits.
Yeah, so excellent shot there. Next up in the top 5, or the last one in the top 5 this week, is going to be from Odol Studios, at ODOL Studio. Not studios, just one studio. What we see here is it looks like the members of the Hoth invasion force of the Empire kind of going through the battlefield. And it looks like these two guys have walked up on a now dead rebel pilot, and it looks like he's been there for a while. Some snow covering his body, stacked up on there. But I thought it was really cool, like seeing the Imperial side surveying the battlefield after having destroyed. Yeah,
you nailed it. I mean, that's exactly what I see in the scene. It's the end of the Battle of Hoth. They're just going around, maybe wasting people like. We've talked about samurais, you're crawling around the field and you're just like, right through the heart. See you later, buddy. But I just, Odol Studio, I mean, another account that usually sticks out when they post. It's just a level of clarity he achieves in his shots that make his shots stand out. A lot of times the concept is pretty good. The execution, like I'm saying, is always there. But it's just another nicely, practically set up shot. If you couldn't tell, I love practical shit. That's kind of what I get into. But not even to this level where you're bringing in rocks. You probably got the baking soda out or flour to mimic snow. Good lighting in here. But yeah, it's just an overall pleasingly set up shot. Yeah, exactly. So at Odol, ODOL _studio on Instagram. I don't know if he's been posting recently. There's some like his most recent is from February 10th, so like 2-3 weeks ago. It's weird. Like there's some accounts that always used to tag us that have stopped, and you got to wonder like, oh, is it the Gina stuff? I mean, Papa doesn't tag us anymore. True Perry doesn't tag us anymore. He hasn't been tagging us forever, but True Perry's he's in our Discord. I just think he forgot that you need to tag so we can see it. I mean, don't get me wrong, people. We're in this segment. This segment comes, it's a result of our Instagram account and using our hashtag Star Wars Time Show and adding our account at Star Wars Time Show. And while it may seem like a vanity play to be like, no, tag us and use the hashtag, we all know how Instagram works. I follow back anyone that follows us. If I'm not following you back, it's because I haven't realized you're following us yet. But once I pull up your account, if I see it says follow back, I will follow you back. But even by doing that, there is no guarantee whatsoever that I'm ever going to see anything you post. So if you do like getting the accolades, if you do like getting featured, if you do like getting talked about, please remember to use hashtag Star Wars Time Show and tag @Star Wars Time Show. If you truly canceled us, that's fine. That is your opinion, and we will accept it. We will not go on a woe is me crusade bitching about how we were canceled. It's okay. But if you just forget, we're still here. We're one of the only feature pages that does a weekly show every fucking week, not just when we feel like it. We're one of the only feature pages that actually talks about your work versus using it for our own gain. Think about that. Think about it. Yes, we are using you to help us, but we actually discuss it, and it is a part of the Star Wars Time Show, the site, everything. Just think about it. Don't forget about your boys at the SWTS. I do take it too personally. I've worked on it. I've gotten better. But when I see accounts that have followed us and have tagged us and they stop, it's hard for me not to go, why? What, did we do something? Are we that irrelevant? Is it some dumb thing Nick said again? You never know.
Probably me.
You got to watch out for this guy.
I do have.
Got to watch out.
I'm the wild card here. I know that I say some things
as you say that in a very level tone. I'm the wild guy.
I'm the wild card.
But anyways, Odol Studio from Warsaw, Poland, but a great follow. Lots of quality shots to find on his page.
Indeed. All right, so that brings us into the Matt Haywood.
Should I scroll here? Let's see what we got.
Scroll here. Tell us what we got. So, what do we have, Matt? How did you execute it? And just a little bit about the shot.
All right, so what we're looking at here, we got a Cal Kestis in a BD1 shot. I know when I shot this was shot last spring during the lockdown. It was me getting back to my basics and just kind of going out and dropping a figure in my backyard, not worrying about having my fucking loom cubes out or this panel or that panel or this backdrop. It just had some smoke bombs in my figure, and so it's a Haywood pop shot, very static in nature. I would call it a portrait, even though there's multiple characters. I don't know, dude. I mean,
I like the environment. Right. Like it's a little bit like you said. This is kind of you just using the ground and not having like a setup table and everything like that, but given the nature of that game and the different environments that you travel to, it does feel like it's coming from the game. Like this could be somewhere on Dathomir. This could be somewhere on one of the other, like the the first.
This is one where I got helped by the effect, in this case, the smoke. Because honestly, behind Cal, if you can look, Nick, in the upper right, like those orange hints, I believe that's the sun reflecting off the side of my house. Hey, man. Like there's nothing interesting in this background per se, but thanks to the atmosphere, it kind of covers up the fact that there's a fucking a home from real Earth behind Mr. Kestis in this shot.
Hey, right now it just looks like there's some sort of ominous orange glow in the background, which sets it off even more.
You get lucky, people. This is why I always tell you, try to get a remote shutter release if you can, like a full-on wireless remote. I find those to be the best. And always have your camera's shutter speed set to high. By high, I mean not so much the exposure speed, but the actual shutter itself, high speed. So it's taking 3 to 5 burst shots per press of the button is what I'm trying to get out of my stupid face.
There you go. But yeah, I saw it in Cal is one of those figures that I feel like we don't get a lot of in the community. Maybe, probably right around when he was released, there was a lot of shots, but it's not one that has any kind of.
Well, Nick, you can always rely on me to drop shots months after they're important because, like I said, I probably released this in April or May, and the game came out in October of 2019. So
May 19th, 2020.
There you go. So yeah, I took my time there, just like I'm taking my time now. But I did last week. I was able to get out and do a Star Wars shoot with the Clone Wars Ahsoka, and I dropped one yesterday. It did not do so well, which is fine. I don't post that much anymore, and I've noticed that IG has taken issue with that, and it will penalize me and hide most of my stuff, but that is okay. But yeah, I've broken out the Ahsoka. I've really
the cloud with the sword.
I absolutely, Nick, I love these fucking Final Fantasy figures. I think they're just phenomenal. I know it's not what my following likes to see, but we're on the show now, so I'm looking at them. Look at that Barrett. You know I like something if I'm actually saying one thing positive about my own work. So
yeah, but your own work,
right? I don't know. I feel like the Final Fantasy pictures. I just like the figures, but this Maul one here, the 1125. I don't know. People like the Maul. The Maul likes me. Yeah. Maul and I, we do okay together.
Symbiotic relationship with you and
Plus,
Maul here.
It's a beauty of a figure. I mean, come on, people. You just got to know how to hit the button, right?
Oh yeah, that figure is absolutely.
But there you go. Yeah. So I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's a very typical Haywood pop shot, and this time last year I probably would have been like, oh, I feel so bad for myself. Fuck all that. Who cares? I've broken free of the toy photography addiction on IG, where I feel like I need to post every fucking day, every toy session. I need to be on there every minute. It's been nice, but again, like I said, and this is a proven fact. If you do not post to IG regularly, it will start to kill off your account. Plain and simple. If you get back to it and you start getting back to a rhythm, it'll open it back up. That's just how it works. We'll never figure out why. That's just how it goes. Maybe it's a motivational tactic to get people to on the platform more. But I can tell you right now, when I was posting 7 days a week, that's when I took my following from 4,000 to 6,000 or 5,000, whatever the fuck I'm at. Now that I'm posting like twice a week, if that, I'm lucky to add 100 followers every 2 or 3 months. But who gives a shit?
Hey, it's more about your like how you want to treat the hobby.
That's I'm at that. I'm getting. It's going to take a while because I still have it with Star Wars Time Show, but there is, and there probably will always be, a little dark hole of emptiness in my soul that can only be filled by me one day feeling like I've actually become someone or something. Who knows? Maybe I'll chop my head off and become a bot that people choose to come to and check out, go to for whatever rambling shit I'm spewing out of my mouth. But until I feel that way, I'm probably always going to be making small attempts to get there. With the toy stuff, is like, yeah, I can become big in toys and get free toys and this and that. That didn't work out. It's fine. I know my limitations. EB was like, I'm going to do games, get free games, go to E3. I did most of that, but was not able to parlay it into a full-time career in the gaming media, mostly because I didn't try. Because guess what? Being a tenured college professor is pretty fucking cool. It's a great, it offers a very, very, very enticing work-life balance that when I had opportunities to maybe do something in gaming or with Stern, I was like, no, too big of a risk to give up what I have. But these days, it's just the Star Wars stuff. Like I still have that one last dream to become a Star Wars podcast that can get more than a few thousand downloads a month. Until I get that,
hopefully we get there.
Until I get that, you're probably always going to get me begging and pleading, or someone just finally say, like, dude, get the fucking picture. You're just not that likable, which I understand. I've already pissed off just a few people from the Star Wars Time Show community over the past year. I get it, but some of the shit that I see, KRTs, the LRMs, where they're getting traction and they have followings and they have thousands of people watching their streams, I just go, what have I done wrong? What God have I pissed off in this world to make me suffer oh so much? I guess we'll never figure it out, Nick, because I think the writing's on the wall. We're always going to be a middling to below average type of Star Wars podcast, and I should just get used to that, and that's okay.
Hey, that's how we have middling to below average fans too. No, just kidding.
We still have good times on Tuesdays, but it's time to say goodbye. That's right, my friends. We have made it to the end of the SWTS episode 151. But if you're really keeping score, I think, Nick, we're probably pushing 300 to 400, maybe 500 episodes. But we won't talk about that because that makes us look even less important than we are, even less attractive than we are, even less listened to than we are. But anyways, we're here. Let's do it. Let's shimmy and shake our little fat asses over to StarWarsTime.net. StarWarsTime.net. You like that jingle? I just wrote it. All right, so why are we going there? You, the MVPs, you know why we're here, but we got to talk to the new listeners because there are new listeners every show, right? Right, everybody? Right? Probably not, but I'm still going to say there are new listeners, and they may need to know this information. So if you are new, and you liked this weird little experiment you just sat through for the past 3 hours or few minutes, I don't know, maybe you came in when we were talking about jerking off. Maybe you came in when we were talking about Hera Syndulla being in Rangers, even though we called that months ago. You just don't know what you're going to get on an episode of the Star Wars Time Show. Our announcer always tries to lay down the gamut of what we're going to get into, but once the mics go live, you just truly never know what is going to come out of these bearded faces. But you can get better ideas by going to StarWarsTime.net because we at least load up some of our topics there. Not the tangents. You come to the show for the tangents. You go to the site for the actual topics. But more importantly, StarWarsTime.net also has all of our links out to the podcast on the audio-only platforms such as Apple, Google, Spotify, Deezer. Do you Deezer anyone? We do, and we've got you covered. You can also, if you want to get in on the live streams, either live or not live, we're also on YouTube. That's where we do the show. Typically every Tuesday in between 2 and 3 is when we kick it off. And we're usually going to be talking for 2.5+ hours, if not 3. But you can also find our sublink for YouTube at StarWarsTime.net. Or these days, I think we are so damn average, you can even search it on Google and probably find the Star Wars Time Show on YouTube. And please, sub up. If you're listening right now, click the thumb up, click the thumb down, leave a comment, tell us we're stupid, tell us our opinions make you want to cancel the show. Do anything to drum up some drama. We need some of that drama juice, some of that faux outrage shit. Let's do it. Let's get this thing all over the socials. Did you hear what they said today on the Star Wars Time Show? Well, you got to tune in, and the only way to tune in is going to StarWarsTime.net or finding the Star Wars Time Show on YouTube. And don't forget, next week, fingers crossed, yours truly right here, through the help of the PR guru at the SWTS HQ, Spencer Barron, we hope to have our first big-time Star Wars actor on the program in Mr. Silas Carson from Prequels era fame. So everyone, get your Force fingers out. Put the midichlorians out there. Hopefully he comes on. We're looking forward to it. I will do my best to deliver a solid interview of a prequel actor. Because there's always time for Star Wars time, my friends. The fandos know it, the long-term assholes live it, but you noobs, you need to know it and you need to say it with me one time. There's always time for Star Wars time. Okay, ready? Say it. There's always time for Star Wars time. You can get a little of that evangelical stuff in there. There's always time for Star Wars time. And remember, if you listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you always.